Hello. So we are gonna be playing some fucking pressure wash simulator because I've never played. I played a lot of pressure wash simulator. Don't get me wrong. I've never done the aquarium, and oh my fucking god, it's massive in every good way possible. So I was just gonna have us do this while we talked about like maybe some Barcelona stuff. Maybe like we can talk some anime later and shit. But as of right now, mainly Barcelona. Um, so I wanted to look up Barcelona. I want to look at the whole team, the squad, blah, blah, blah. Alright, let's look at the squad. Alright, and we'll talk about each of these players one by one as we go down the list. And yeah, and then we also have like some rumors that we can talk about. I know about like 5 rumors for players we're kind of linked with, so we can definitely go off of that. Alright, so I already have an idea like where we're going off of. We have Ter Stegen, Peña, and Chesney to begin with. So everything that should be fine. And get that shit off my screen. Alright, we can go back to doing some pressure wash. All right. But overall, even before we talk about Barcelona, like it's just so cool to be like recording this and playing like on a computer and shit. Cause I haven't had like a real moment to like really like go one on one and just talk to the computer a little bit. Oh my god, it's gonna be so beautiful when we're fucking done with this place. I don't know how. Oh damn, that was loud. I don't know how the fuck we're supposed to make the like the end camera, like the free camera that shows you like all your progress and shit. I don't know how that's supposed to look like, considering there's like 8 different fucking rooms in this bitch. Regardless, I am very, I'm very grateful. Very grateful. I've been having a really good time. I've had, I've always had like days where like I just don't feel like playing video games anymore, and I just don't feel like doing shit. But luckily for me, I've been feeling really good lately. I've been really good. I've been getting my sleep. I've been eating. I like to think I'm eating healthier. I'm drinking way more water than I used to. There's always room for improvement. I know I could be doing better when it comes to like how I eat and all that stuff. I still like snack on chips every once in a while. I know that's not necessarily good and everything, but I don't know. I still feel better than how I felt in previous times. And yeah, it's pretty good. I get to just be here right now. I'm playing a game that I really do like playing. Like a lot of people listen off and be like, "What the fuck are you playing pressure?" Especially my uncle. Trashes the fuck out of me and my sister for liking this game. But in all honesty, this game is just so fucking good. Like even when my sister was visiting for a little bit, and we were like playing this game for a little bit, like she'd be listening to music in the background, and I'd just be listening to like podcasts and stuff while I'd be cleaning this stuff. And yeah, it's really fun. Like I can't tell you how fun this game is. It's so ridiculously fun. Oh my god, the way that this is all gonna look at the end of this is gonna be so fucking good. Um, nah, but overall, even this whole year has been so fucking good when it comes to just my mental health and everything. Nothing really bad has happened. There's been a few little things around there, but nothing to like really like make me feel like, fuck, man. So it's just been really good. Like I've been really happy. I have like my little dog. Like relationship with my uncle and my grandma have been really good too. We don't really butt heads. Every once in a while we get into like a discussion, but that's all it is, like a discussion. Nothing really too heinous. And yeah, not much. And we get to play video games. I'm looking forward to the games that are gonna come out soon. Five Nights at Freddy's being one of them. The Tales of the Mimic. I'm very excited for that. I already have it, but I already have it pre-ordered, so that's just gonna be nice when it just releases. I can just download that bitch. Um, yeah, even sports-wise, oh my god, sports-wise has been amazing. Yes, Barcelona did not make the Champions League. They did not make it to the final, but they made it to the semi-final, and they looked really fucking good. Like I would say that like if it was for like a bit of like better game management from Hansi Flick, I think we would be right now be in the final. And that's where I ultimately say like the fault was at that game. Like a lot of people can like blame Araujo all they want and stuff, but in all reality, I do kind of blame Flick's tactics in that situation. They were very like Ange Postecoglou-esque, where like you're winning the game, defend. Like there's no reason for us to be going on like a counter attacks or trying to score a a fifth goal. No, it wasn't fourth goal, a fourth goal for no reason. And I'm thinking to myself, I know what the thought process is. Jesus Christ! Green, 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 green. I get the thought process behind it, like, oh, we want to put this out of reach. We want to make sure that, like, even though if they score another goal late on, nothing bad's gonna happen. But I'm like, bro, it's like literally like they added 5 minutes of extra time, and Rafinha scored his goal like in the 88th minute. It's 7 minutes. 7 minutes of non-stop defending, and I know you're scared about like set pieces and stuff like that, so that's why they kind of wanted to put the game at end a little bit. But at the same time, like the substitutions, like if we would have subbed on Christensen instead of Araujo, bro, I think we would have won. But we'll talk more about the players themselves individually in just a sec. But overall, I'm just saying, like, a lot of people like make fun of Barca, like, oh, Inter Milan, blah blah blah. This is not the same. It really isn't. Like, I do not feel the same way I feel about this season like I've had other seasons. The AS Roma season, the Liverpool season, the Bayern Munich season, the game knocked out into the Europa League and then losing to teams like Frankfurt and Manchester United. Manchester fucking United. We gotta talk about them in a bit too. But the fact that this season, like, don't get me wrong, I was at work when the game was happening, and I remember being absolutely pissed. My friend knows, my friend Adrian, he knows how mad I was that day, because I thought to myself, because even then, like, when we started the game losing 2-0, I kind of thought to myself, oh well, it's just not gonna be for us this year. Oh well, we gave it our best shot. We got second place in the table. We made it really far into the semifinals. It was a good run. But then we scored 2 goals. And then it makes you believe again, like, wait a minute. This isn't over. Only to then we score the fucking 87th minute goal, bro. And I'm thinking, I remember where I was at. I was like, me and my friend were picking up a ladder. And me and Adrian were grabbing a ladder, and we were going upstairs so we can change some light bulbs. And I just remember looking at my phone, and it's saying Barcelona scored, Rafinha. And I'm like, no way. We're going to do it. We're making the Champions League final for the first time in 10 years. And as we're upstairs, I'm just looking at my phone constantly because I just know, bro. I just know something's going to happen. I had a feeling. And people are like, oh, yeah, that's being too negative. And I said, bro, I know football. I've seen this shit happen nonstop. Just today, Sunderland got promotion in the 95th minute against Sheffield United. Fuck Sheffield United, by the way. I hate that team. Like, with a bad passion. Their fans are pieces of shit. They think they're all that shit, but in reality, they live in the championship practically. However, not as bad as Arsenal fans. God, fuck those guys. But in all seriousness, like, so I thought I was mad at the moment when I saw Acerbi score that goal. When I saw the notification on my phone and it said Acerbi scores, I was destroyed. I could not believe it because I thought to myself, like, not like this. I was okay with losing when we were losing 2-0. I was okay with like the outcome. I was like, you know what, we did our best. We made it far in the competition. That's it. But not like that, man. Like, you're so close. You literally touch it. You're right there. We have like 1.5 feet already in the final. And then out of nowhere, that goal happens, and oh, it's just so heartbreaking. And like a lot of categories go into that game too. Like every decision going in Inter Milan's favor. People hating VAR. And in all honesty, I can't blame VAR, man. I don't blame VAR. I blame the fucking idiots who run it. Like, the fucking referees are behind that fucking screen and make the soul-crushing, stupid fucking decisions that they do to ruin a game. It befumbles me. And to me, people say it's a hot take, but I legitimately do not think that the Kubarsi tackle on Lautaro Martinez was a penalty. Yes, he clatters him. He goes through him to get to the ball. It doesn't matter. He hits the ball, man. He hits the ball. And a lot of people are like, oh, there's intention. There's no such thing as the word intention behind a fucking tackle, bro. There's no, in a penalty, I mean. In a penalty, there's no matter if, like, you meant to do something or not. If you handball the ball, but you didn't mean to, you think the ref's going to be like, oh, he didn't mean that. No, that's not how it works. You have to, like, take the responsibility for the decisions that happened in that moment. And right there, bro, he got the ball. I can't see how that's a penalty. Legit, that's just me, though. I, in my wildest dreams, cannot understand how someone can see that and be like, oh, penalty. Easy penalty. It stumps me. It really does. And not to get, but like I said, I was upset. I was really upset the moment. I kept on seeing, like, I couldn't watch the game, but I was, like, listening to, like, the commentary and shit. And I just hear that Sommer is saving fucking everything, bro. If Inter Milan win this fucking, no one should be looking at Dumfries. No one should be looking at Lautaro Martinez, Marcus Thuram. They shouldn't be looking at any of those guys. They need to look straight at fucking. They need to look at Jan Sommer, because Jan Sommer saved them that fucking night, bro. Barcelona needed a Jan Sommer that night. Like our 2 games against them, bro. If we had a Jan Sommer, like we should have scored. Like in the first game alone, we should have scored way more than 3 goals. And in the second game, we definitely should have scored more than 3 goals. I feel like we should even had a penalty, but no, whatever. And we were just missing, a good goalkeeper, man. And that's again, we're gonna talk about that shit in just a bit. I'm just giving a more raw view, and I'm just saying, like, I'm making the complaints now, but ultimately, hands up, like clap. Well done, Barcelona. Because I looked at the highlights later on, and I saw how much fight. I saw how much they wanted this shit. I saw Fermin Lopez taking every tackle and putting his heart and soul into it. I saw Lamine Yamal dribbling and dribbling and dribbling non-stop. Other seasons, you would have saw the fucking Barcelona player. This is looking really nice, by the way. You would have saw the Barcelona player with his hands in his fucking between his fucking legs, crying. And that's not the attitude you want to have from your team. You don't want to see your team just overall just give up or get slaughtered. The 8-2 to Barcelona is the lowest point as a soccer fan football, soccer, whatever, I've ever been. It hurt. I remember like watching the game and like even when like they scored a goal and then we scored right after, I thought, oh, this is gonna be a good game. I was wrong. Cause that the numbers just kept going in, bro. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fucking goals, bro, against FC Barcelona in the Champions League quarterfinal. That was heartbreaking, to say the least. That was incredibly terrible. And it's just and so I've seen like all the heartaches, man. I've seen like I started watching Barcelona really like in 2015ish times. I got to see that remontada, the big old remontada that there was, and like I got to experience all that shit, and it was really awesome. But then we also got knocked out by Juventus. That's like obviously, yeah, oh well, not much you can do about it. Dybala was just a fucking beast back in the day. Like he still is, but his injuries are just keeping him, kind of holding him back a little bit. But overall, man, like what's this place called? Crab Bay Aquarium? It's a W name. I was really upset in all those other years because I thought to myself like, we can do better than this shit. Barcelona are a way better team than this, and we're losing in such an embarrassing fashion. But this time, bro, this time, we fought. There was a legitimate fight. I was so proud to see that the team had worked really hard to get the job done. And that's not something I can say every other season. Like even when Messi was there was times when like the team just looked like they looked tired and they looked like they didn't want to be there no more. They were ready to just throw in the towel, and I could not understand why. And because I'm thinking to myself like, bro, like you're playing right and like you're losing a game, just show me that you're like that you care. And even though yeah the players are crying and shit, but like you didn't get the same feeling as you did this time. This time like you can see Lamine Yamal running up and down the pitch, Gavi, Fermin, Pedri, everybody's giving it their fucking best. And it just wasn't enough. And that's just the thing about sports, right? You can't win them all. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with accepting that you can't win every game. I get that. My issue is how you lose a game. I don't want to see my team fucking giving up before the final whistle blows. I don't care if it's 5-0. I want to see you running up, and that's why early in the season, like you got glimpses of that. Like when we were beating Valladolid, when we beat Valladolid like 7-1, we were like 4-0 up, and we were still going crazy to score even more goals. Like the team was relentless. It was beautiful, beautiful to see the team like really put a lot of emphasis and effort into trying to win these games. And it's something that I never saw before. And people are like, oh, you're thinking too much into it, Carlos. Like you're not really paying attention to like this and that and this. Like, and I'm like, bro, what am I not paying attention to? Like back in other games, like everyone's like, oh, Busquets cared, Suarez cared. I know they cared, bitch. I'm not saying that they just fucking like they just like, oh, whatever, guys, we lost. Oh well, we're gonna go party now. They didn't, no, not like that. They're not fucking Marcus Rashford or fucking Ousmane Dembele at Barcelona kind of fucking players. But at the same time, like you just wished you would have saw a little bit more from them in those situations, like more effort. Because we all know how good Messi can be when he gets upset. We all know. Like, it's not even, there's no reason to try and pretend like, oh no, Messi's not, like, shut up. Like, you're not thinking properly then. Because Messi is a fighter. Like, if you piss him off, he'll dribble past 8 different people before he, like, tries to take a shot on target. Just now, Inter Miami just tied with it. They were losing 3-0 to fucking Philadelphia Union, and out of nowhere, you can tell Messi's getting annoyed, and he starts dribbling past everybody. He scores a free kick. Crazy, crazy shit, right? And it's just, I don't know. I'm just very happy. And then we're gonna talk about the players now in just a second. I'm sorry. I just keep like going into emphasis that like I understand it, like the Champions League was a bust, but we did so good for the rest of the year, right? We defeated our arch rivals 4 fucking times, bro. 4 times. Their fans legitimately thought they had a chance. And I went into these classical games not even freaking out, bro. The most freaked out I got was the Copa del Rey final. That was the only game I was like, oh shit. Because like, beheaded to what I was thinking, Real Madrid actually put up a decent fucking fight. Right? Like every other game of the season, ass, absolute fucking garbage. But the one time they play against Barcelona in the Copa del Rey final, they're actually fucking pretty decent. And I'd argue and say they probably should have won that game, to be quite frankly honest with you. But they, it's just they're so bad this year, bro. They're terrible. Especially fucking Vinicius, bro. Vinicius, oh my god, like that's a whole different discussion, bro. He's right now in backlash just of like how he was like referring to Valencia, and people are like, oh, Valencia being racist to him, blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, man, yeah, I get that, I really do. But at the same time, bro, like Vinicius is a fucking victim. Like, yes, they make racial abuse to him, bro, but he doesn't help it out, man. And I don't give a fuck what Macwell, I don't give a fuck what any of these other fucking like YouTubers or anything says. Like, oh, I think it's just like you shouldn't never do racism like blatantly. And I said, I get that, I really do. I get you shouldn't be doing fucking saying racist shit. But at the same time, bro, I'm thinking like stuff, bro. Like, I don't let racist shit ever get to me, right? I'm a nobody. He's a fucking millionaire, and he gets like so much money to just play the fucking game that he loves, whatever. And he can't ignore a few fucking words, and that's just my thing. Like, racism is bad. You shouldn't have to tolerate it. I agree with you. You shouldn't have to tolerate it. But Vinicius just he lets every fucking thing affect him. He doesn't have the situation. Imagine like fucking. Imagine there's a fucking like it goes right back to the phrase of like don't poke the bear. Imagine there's a bear right in front of you, and everything tells you that you should just ignore the bear. You should just not fuck with the bear. The bear is a very big animal. It's gonna hurt you if you get too close to it. No, Vinicius is the fucking guy who goes over to the bear and starts poking you with a stick. And then whenever the bear gets mad and starts swiping, and then the hunters come over and kill the bear, and it's always like, oh, like the bear attacked this man and blah blah blah. Like he's so poor innocent man. Like no, bro, the bear wasn't even fucking with you, right? And here you are fucking doing this stupid shit to antagonize the bear. Like I said, it's not okay. It's not okay to be racist. It's not okay to just be out here saying racial slurs to hurt people's feelings. Because you know what they're saying these words. They're saying these words to hurt his feelings. They're saying them to affect him. But Vinicius is looking for it, bro. He's legitimately looking for that kind of, like, attention. If you're like, no, Carlos, that's fucked up. You shouldn't say that. Like, racism is bad. Yeah, and Vinicius is fucking using it. So how about we all look at get a microscope or a magnifying glass and just look at what the fuck Vinicius is doing, alright? Because he's obviously like fucking making himself look like a bigger victim than what he actually is. Oh, Carlos, you can't say that. It's racist. So, I speak what's on my mind. And I'm not saying it to be racist. I'm saying it to say as a fact. The Vinicius does not help himself. He is his worst own enemy. Vinicius is a great player. Fantastic player. Some people would love to have him in their team. Personally, me, I wouldn't want him in Barcelona. I wouldn't want him. I'd rather have a confident and yet very strong and skillful player like Lamine Yamal, who he's also suffered racial abuse from the past. But how does Lamine Yamal react? He just ignores it. He can move on and play the actual fucking game. You shouldn't have to deal with it, Carlos. I get you. You shouldn't have to, but it's just something you have to deal with, bro. I do agree that the La Liga and other teams should and other corporations to start killing racism. They should do something like, oh, if your team is caught doing some racist shit, -2 points or some shit like that. Because then the fandom's gonna be like, no, we can't do this shit now because our team's gonna get fucking relegated if we keep doing this stupid shit. Yeah, I agree with that. Make it to like it makes people not want to do racist shit. Rather than just giving like the team like, oh, you get 2 match stadium ban. Oh yeah, sure. And when they come back, they're just gonna still spewing fucking nonsense. But yeah, Vinicius was just a fucking moron, bro. But I digress. I think it's about time we talk about like I'm tired of talking about Vinicius. It's pissing me off. So let's talk about more like Barcelona, right? Barcelona overall this whole season, fantastic. Loved it. Every fucking second of the season has been amazing to watch. Even games when we lost, like against Las Palmas and Leganés and everything, like our slump in November, I still felt really good watching Barcelona. Even though there were frustrating games and like games where the enemy team were just like hiding like little pussies in their fucking little box, I still loved watching this team. I really did, and it's like that's like the beauty behind it, right? This is looking amazing, by the way. It's the beauty behind football. Where like I'm watching these grown ass men, not even all of them, bro. Fucking Lamine Yamal, Kubarsi, and Casal, bro. They're all fucking young as fuck. They're younger than me. Lamine Yamal is younger than my oldest sister. Not my oldest, but she's not older than me. But you know, you get the fucking sentiment. My sister is 18, and Lamine Yamal's barely gonna turn 18. You know how fucking crazy that is? Like I live in a time now where like these players are just popping out of nowhere. Before you know it, Barcelona gonna have another guy, and I don't even know who's gonna be. It might be a goalkeeper, and that's what we desperately need. We'll talk about that in a second. But Barcelona have done something really incredible this season, and I think it's worth every fucking mention and every like bit of praise. Even like some Real Madrid fans, by Diego X10. He's a big Real Madrid fan, and he always makes videos on Real Madrid. But he himself came out and he acknowledged how good Barca have been this season. I can say the same thing for him some seasons. I'm a big Real Madrid hater, bro. I'll hate watch sometimes. I'll watch their games to hope that they fucking lose. Like this season against Athletic Bilbao, I was hate watching the fuck out of that game. Only for Valverde to score a last minute winner with a fucking banger, and I can't even lie. Like Jesus, I don't know how else to like really describe this feeling about like Real Madrid. Just I like to have like this respect. Like for me, Barcelona and Real Madrid are like Naruto and Sasuke, right? Two of the biggest clubs in football, and we just try and one up each other every fucking time. Whereas like unless like it's like Barcelona against Espanyol, like there I just want those fuckers to lose. I legitimately want Espanyol to get relegated. Even though today they just beat Las Palmas 2-0, which means that they're gonna survive in La Liga. So the season's over in La Liga. For them at least. Like tomorrow Barca playing against Bilbao. But even then I think that Flick should really like not even like focus on playing with the main squad. We already won La Liga. We can play with like the B team basically. But just to put into simplicity, like this season's been amazing. I've loved watching every fucking game. And I'm very proud. I'm very proud of this squad. I think the squad has a lot of development to even go further, because this is a good teaching lesson for all those Barcelona youngsters who have never made it that far in the Champions League, and now they fucking did it, bro. They made it so far in the league, and they won La Liga ahead of like big experience. Like I don't care how bad Real Madrid have been, you still have to beat them because they still have world class players. Kylian Mbappe, Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo, Valverde, Modric, Courtois. These are all great players. And you're not going to beat them just because you got lucky. Even on their worst days, bro. Like, me and my friends, even though, like, let's say Real Madrid had like one of their worst spells, they were still beating other La Liga teams, which kind of tells you how bad the quality is in La Liga because of fucking Tebas and bitch ass. But at the same time, like, Barcelona made them look stupid. Legitimately made them look so bad because every other team in Europe was fearing these guys. Like, oh, you can never count out Real Madrid. Real Madrid are such a scary force. Even after we beat Real Madrid 4-0 in their stadium, and then 5-1, 5-2 in the Supercopa de España, a lot of people still don't like consider a big trophy, but you have to beat Real Madrid to get it. And Real Madrid are a big team. They always win the Champions League, so I don't understand how you can just be like, oh, that's an easy trophy to win. It's not. And I don't see how people saw those two performances and thought to themselves, oh, Real Madrid are definitely going to win that game. I was like, are you for real? Did you not see? Oh, but Real Madrid have like more experience than Barcelona. I said, bitch, we beat them twice, and then we beat them, and then we beat them again in the Copa del Rey. I won't lie, that game was a lot closer, but it was still wasn't like there was still like first half was all Barcelona. If it wasn't for Courtois, we would have been winning that first half like 3-0 instead of the 1-0 that we had. Because then they came back and they scored 2 goals after that from a free kick and from a corner kick, and now they were ahead. But luckily, Ferran Torres decided to finally become a really good player and fucking score some fucking very important goals for us. And then we got that fucking Kunde shot. Oh my god. And like I love Modric. Don't get me wrong. I think Modric is a very like he's the less like flashiest player that we've seen in a long time. I feel like he won't go down. Like a lot of people won't remember him, unfortunately. Even though he's the one who won. Like he broke the Ballon d'Or curse between Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. He's a great player. He brought so much love and attention to the country of Croatia, a country that people really don't even care about, really. Not don't care about, but people don't really acknowledge as being a big football country. And Modric alone, his presence alone, was enough to make the world kind of understand of like the quality that's in that league. Because then after that, you get players like Rakitic, then you got players like Livakovic and fucking back in the day, Lovren, who was at Liverpool. You had fucking Kostic, all these really good players, right? But Modric was a big part of that. But it was so satisfying to see him because, like, you know, people. I don't know what people were saying that he's always quiet and never causing problems, bro. Like Modric talked a lot of shit during El Clasicos, bro. So it was really nice to see like one of his final. Now that I know this is his last year, it's already confirmed. They just played their last game against Real Sociedad today. Like he might go to. I don't know if he's going to the Club World Cup. I don't know if that's confirmed or not. But all I know is that he is leaving. I never have to see him play again. Like he might go to a Croatian team for a year or two, maybe like Hajduk Split or Zagreb. I don't know where like he would want to go because I know he played at Tottenham from a really young age. Which we have to talk about Tottenham too, to be honest. But and it was very satisfying to see. Sorry, I lose my train of thought every once in a while because I start going off topic a little bit. But it was really nice to see. It was really awesome to see how his fuck up led to Kunde. Because everyone's like, oh, Brahim Diaz. Bro, it was not Brahim Diaz's fault. I'm sorry, but Brahim Diaz is running away to start the play, and Modric passes it back to him. Like, Modric should have read the play a little bit more. You know what I mean? But whatever. People think it's Brahim Diaz's fault, and I full-heartedly disagree. I really do think it was, what's his name? Modric's fault. Now, with that being said, right? We're about to start talking about the Barcelona players, because I'm tired of. There's no reason to talk about Real Madrid stuff like that. But there are transfer rumors and everything I want to talk about in just a bit, and players who might be leaving, players who might be coming in, and the ones that I really think are gonna come in and whatnot. We'll talk about all that right now. So we gotta start off with players like Ter Stegen, our number one, the captain. What do I think about Ter Stegen's season? All right, so he played like the first few games. I didn't write down these numbers. These are all I'm just speaking from the top of my head right now. But he played the first few games of the season, and he looked okay. Like I didn't see a performance where he did something so stupid or so negligent to have people like already calling out for his head, you know. So I didn't really mind his performances being played at the moment until we got to the Monaco game, right? And I will still I'll still say this in advance. I do think that goal was as much as Ter Stegen's fault as Eric Garcia's fault, right? For the red card. Not the goal, the red card. They really cost us that game. Now in hindsight, it doesn't even matter, that game. That game really didn't really affect us at all, other than the fact that like we were playing like we were undefeated in like all our games in Europe, and all of a sudden we fucking lost to Monaco. And even after we lost to them in the John Gamper Trophy, which is kind of embarrassing too, to be quite frank with you. But overall, it had nothing. Like in hindsight, that Monaco loss didn't do shit, right? We just got a really good goal from Lamine Yamal to like we can take that out of that game. But a lot of people did see that performance from Ter Stegen, right? They saw Ter Stegen do that, and then they immediately like wanted his head. And then they saw the 2 goals that came in after like that red card to Eric Garcia, and then they're like, oh, we want like Ter Stegen's shit. Blah, blah. I do agree that Ter Stegen fucked up there, but I don't think it's entirely his fault, because if you look back on the replay, you can see Eric Garcia ran all the way back. Like, you know, he's running all the way back from the midfield that like Flick had put him in. He didn't put him as a center back. He put him as like a CDM kind of. where like today Frankie De Jong or Gavi would be playing, or Casado or Bernal, whatever. He had him there, and he ran all the way back, and Ter Stegen's seeing him, but Ter Stegen's looking at him dead in the eye, and he decides to pass it to him. Was it the best pass? He had like so many other options before that, but he chose that one bad pass. So that's where it's Ter Stegen's fault. However, Eric Garcia stopped running. Don't know why. But that led to like, the pass that Ter Stegen played, which was like, had the good power for if he would have kept running, he would have got to that. You know? But instead, like, he stopped running, so whatever. But then right after that game happened, we had the Villarreal game. We went away to the La Ceramica, and we had to play against Villarreal in their stadium. And Ter Stegen was having a great game. He was blocking shot behind shot behind shot. There was once where Nicolas Pepe got through on goal against us. And I was thinking to myself, shit, here comes the goal. Ter Stegen saved it. It was a good reflexive save. I remember like the Talk FCB Discord, Ultra Magnus, one of the people who's there, he's always talked so much shit about Ter Stegen, and like in that moment, I'm wondering like, what's he thinking now? Like, what do you think about that save? He gave him his due diligence. He said, oh well, decent save, which it was. It was a very decent save. Wait, almost done with this part. So, what do I think about Ter Stegen? Do I think he should leave? I think that personally, I like Ter Stegen. Right? I like what he's done. I like his play style. I think he's giving us so many good saves. Like that double save, the two double saves he did against Sevilla in the 2018-19 season, right? From Wissam Ben Yedder. Right? Like those two saves he made, they were just amazing. Like, let's not kid ourselves. That was like some of the best goalkeeping. And I remember that season Ter Stegen was on fire. Ter Stegen was one of the best goalkeepers in the world, if not the best goalkeeper. I saw like the people making the top 10 best goalkeepers of the world that year. And it's always between Courtois and Ter Stegen. And I do love Ter Stegen a lot. I appreciate his talent. But at the same time, I do think it's time for him to leave. I think he is definitely past his prime now. He has been making more stupid mistakes. Again, I don't give him too much shit for like other things that happen. Like when he recently came back against Valladolid. I expect him to play tomorrow, by the way. Ter Stegen, or even Peña, maybe. I don't know. It might be. I think it might be Ter Stegen. It's definitely not Szczesny. Szczesny's definitely not playing another game for the rest of the season. And when I say rest of the season, I mean like the last game we have tomorrow, basically. But so I don't know how to describe this. Ter Stegen, I think for his sake, I love him as a player, bro. I'll never hide that fact. And a lot of people in the Discord servers that I join and stuff like that, they all bash me. I forget his name. There's a YouTuber right now. He's a black guy, and he starts off his videos with just yelling like, no. He starts yelling and just freezes on his face like as he screams whatever. He hates Ter Stegen like with passion, and he just will not stop bashing on the guy. And I personally, this is just me, I don't agree with it. I think Ter Stegen has done many things for us throughout the years, and I feel like it's a little disrespectful to just kind of be like, hey, you're shit now. We don't want you anymore. Get the fuck out of our club. No, that's not the kind of attitude I go with at all. Do I think he should leave? Yeah. I do think Ter Stegen's past his prime. He's not saving shots that he should be saving. And I think the one thing that gives him like that quality that like Barcelona goalkeepers would want to have is his like touch. He's really good at like playing with the ball and like distributing it really nice and properly. But at the same time, I think it's like we're a little past that now, you know? We're a little past the point where like that can be considered like, oh, like you saved us. Like, we need a shot stopper. Because Szczesny came in, and he did everything Ter Stegen wasn't doing when it came to saves. Like, but Szczesny was failing on the thing that, like, Ter Stegen does, which is, like, the sweeper keeper role. Like, he runs off his pitch and does all this shit. We'll talk about Szczesny in a bit. But Ter Stegen-wise, I love the guy. I really do. I want the best for him wherever he goes next. I have a feeling this is what I would do if I was Ter Stegen. I'd go back to Borussia Mönchengladbach. It's an old childhood team. Give him a year or two, and like maybe you can like help them get to like a Europa League or a Champions League spot, right? Because right now they did not make the Europa League nor the Champions League, nor the Conference League for that matter. FC Mainz made that shit. So maybe you can go to Gladbach and maybe try and help them get better in the long run. But I do think it's time for him to leave. I do legitimately think it's time for that to happen. And I don't know if you're gonna get a price for it. I know his contract. I don't know I don't know when his contract ends. Again, all this is like scripted. It's just all in the back of my head. I could look it up now, but I don't want to do that. I just want to kind of like have the idea that maybe it's our state. We can sell him for good. We can tell, or maybe he'll just leave for free. I don't know. We can just make an agreement and be like, all right, terminate your contract, and then you can go to whatever team you want. Because let's be honest, a lot of teams aren't going to be like coming out and paying big money for Ter Stegen, right? And that's where like my kind of love for him ends. I do really think we should like move on. We have to move on past him. We do need a better keeper. I acknowledge this, and this is where we're going to talk about some of like the transfer speculations we have coming up in the future. But Ter Stegen, like, I do appreciate him. I'm not gonna be here and diss on his name, say that he hasn't done jack shit for us, and say that I want him to fuck out my club like he's never done anything for my club, which is just a blatant lie. Like that, his performance against Bayern Munich in the 2015 season was very like much appreciated in other games too. He was a big reason why we won in this last 2022 season. He was a wall. Like nothing was going past him really. Like we were winning games. Like the reason like that season isn't loved so much is because we were winning games like 1-0. Like we were defending the fuck out of ourselves. But you can rely on Ter Stegen. Like when he has a good back wall in front of him to help give him cover, he's really good at making like stopping out those other extra blocks. Whereas like other seasons when Xavi came in and really wanted us to open up a little bit more, open up our defense, it just didn't suit Ter Stegen whatsoever, you know? So, yeah, overall, Ter Stegen, I love the guy, but I think it is time for him to go. So that's my notes on Ter Stegen. I love the guy, but he needs to leave. Oh, I just noticed a seahorse. I thought it was a shark. Oh, this is looking amazing, by the way. I'm loving the way this room's looking. Look how nice this looks. Oh my god. I'm surprised I've never seen this map. I know there's another one, like an ice cream parlor place. We can definitely talk about more. Like end of season stuff, like what I think about every other league in like major Europe and maybe like the Champions League and stuff. But as of right now, we're just talking about Barca. Oh, look at those seahorses. Poor little guys. Oh, they're probably like eating all the shit on the fucking window tile. Alright. So now, next player. Iñaki Peña. I feel bad for Iñaki Peña. I really do. Because Ter Stegen gets injured and Iñaki Peña comes in and he does really well. Don't get me wrong. He comes in and he's really performing off his fucking mind. His game against Real Madrid on October was outstanding. Like the very few times that Mbappe didn't find himself offside, Peña caught him. Like he saved the ball so many times. And I thought like to myself, like, wait, are we gonna see Peña again? But then I had that level of doubt because the same thing happened last year where Ter Stegen had his back problems, and he didn't play as frequently. And you had Peña play those games, and on some games Peña was making some really good fucking saves. You're like, oh my god, yeah, this is what we're looking for. But then you also saw like when he messed up entirely, and so like that's when like you're like, oh shit. Like he's playing good right now, but I don't know if this is like the best thing. And then you gotta think about it. If Iñaki Peña gets injured, we don't have another backup keeper after that. And so, like you're thinking to yourself, well, but Astralaga is way too young. And like yeah, he had a really good like game against Manchester City in the preseason. It's preseason. Man City are playing with the intention of not breaking their fucking bones or tearing some muscles. Like neither is Barcelona, obviously. But like you can't be looking at that game and like be like say like, oh yeah, Estrelaga is a world class goalkeeper now, like we can rely on him for the future and whatnot. That's not how that works. It's really not how that works. So although I feel really bad for Peña because I really do think he started off with like, his spell really well, and ultimately he did start faltering during November times. Like his saves weren't that great, and you can also blame the defense for that, and specifically one other player that I cannot wait to bash. But I do think I think he should leave. I think for his own sake, I would like to see him. This is my dream like place for him to go for him because I think it's a place where he can play regular mid football. He'll be in the Champions League and he'll be playing with like other world class players and he'll be around a really good environment. And it's a ground environment that already loves him. It's a team that he went to go play for a little bit. And while he was there, he was loved. And that team is Galatasaray, the Turkish Giants. The team from Turkey that always have like one of the best home crowds in football, right? We even played against Spania in the Europa League that year. Like we got kicked out of the Champions League, so we went to go play in the Europa League and we had to play against Galatasaray, right? And they are a very formidable team in Turkey, and overall in Europe, like you see like yourself, you're gonna play against Galatasaray, you start freaking out a little bit because you know how threatening their stadium can be. I forgot the name of their stadium. Like I feel like that's something I should Google. Let's see that real quick. Galatasaray Stadium, the Rams Park. All right, that's kind of I thought it had a more Turkish name. Ali Sami Yenspor Komleski branded as Rams Park. Okay, the Sport Komplexi is a very terrifying ground to go to play, right? But Iñaki Peña did go there for a little bit. He went there on loan for a little bit when Fernando Muslera suffered an injury. And that's what, and I know a lot of people are thinking, oh, but Carlos, what about Fernando Muslera? He's right there right now, and he's he's a very beloved legend of the club, basically. He's been there for so many years. I bet like that Uruguayan already knows how to speak fucking Turkish, which I wouldn't be able to do because Turkish is really hard to learn. But this is Muslera's last season, and even in the final match day of the season, they got a late penalty, and they let Muslera take the penalty because it's his last game for them. I don't know if he's going back to South America. I don't know if he's officially retiring from the game. I don't know nothing about that. All I know is that he's a legend to them, and they need someone to replace him. And for all intents and purposes, bro, I do think Iñaki Peña is a good goalkeeper. I don't think he's world class, but I do think he's a really good goalkeeper, and I think he will be able to show up in that stadium or in that team and give them something. He'll offer them some quality that they might be lacking right now. So that's why I am full on invested in saying like, hey, yeah, I'd love to see Iñaki Peña play for Galatasaray. Not alone, I think we should sell him, especially for his sake out too. Like he's probably been like on the Barcelona's he's like 26 now, and he's been on that bench for so many years. And like the few times that he thinks he's gonna get a chance because either Ter Stegen's playing super fucking bad, and so he comes in, or Ter Stegen gets a back injury, or just like this season he tore something in his fucking leg. Like you think to himself like, oh, this is finally my chance now. I'll have a whole season to play. Nope. Not happening. So situations like that where I feel bad for Peña, and I do wish for him to go to a different team. Not because I don't like him, but because I do think for his sake he needs to play some football. Like I know a lot of people like make the joke like, oh, like being a goalkeeper, like a backup goalkeeper is one of the easiest jobs in the world. And I'm like, yeah, you're right, it is. Because you never see them get enough playing time. You never see them play as much, and all they have to do is show up to training like 4 to 5 times a week, and there you go. And then just sit and look pretty on the bench while your team plays a Champions League game, and just be right there, and you're like, oh, maybe I'll come on or something. Like if Ter Stegen's having the worst game of his fucking life. But luckily, that's so. But for me, and a lot of people like saying he should stay in Spain, and I get that too. But at the same time, like I don't see him really walking into, and I want him to go to a good team. I don't want to see him go to like a Leganés, or I don't want to see him go to Espanyol, really. Like that'd be the like worst case scenario for me if that was the case, if he went to Espanyol. So I think for the best thing of Peña, he should just go like abroad somewhere else. And I think that's something that they would also interest Barcelona. They don't want to sell one of their players to like a rival La Liga team, you know? Like what happens if like Peña has like let's say you send him to Betis. Yeah, he'll go to Europa League football, but then at the same time, like if he does really well there and then you guys play against Barcelona, like that's gonna come back and haunt you a little bit, you know? So for me, I'd probably sell him to Galatasaray. I think that's probably the best. He knows the place now. He's been there. I think it's just the best option for him. So that's what I think about Peña. I think he should leave. And yeah, so that's already 2 players we talked about and 2 players I think should leave, right? That's crazy for me. That's crazy. But here's a player that I do think should stay. Wojciech Szczesny. I think that's how you say his name. properly, obviously. I think it's Stesny because I've heard other people like in the past call him Stesny, and they're Polish, so I'm going off of that. Um, he helped us out a lot. He came in. He has already had a fucking. He was smoking a cigar. He was in the beaches of Ibar, just taking it all in. He retired and everything, and out of nowhere, here comes your best friend Lewandowski. And he gives you a quick little call and says, "Hey, you should come join Barcelona." And like, how do you say no? Like legit, how do you say no? I mean, like he probably talked to his wife and got on his knees and begged, like, "Honey, please." Like you said, we were gonna drink martinis and all the time now, blah blah. You're like, I know, honey, but you understand. This is Barcelona. This isn't shitty Juventus. This isn't piss poor ass Arsenal. This isn't Romulus and Remus wolf tit sucking Roma. This is Barcelona. This is heritage. This is like football heritage. And he came in and he at first again I was kind of suspicious at first because he came in and everyone's like, oh, he's gonna be a backup. He's the backup to Pena. So I'm like, then why we bring him in? That's what I was thinking. Like, I get it. He wants to, like, you need a backup goalkeeper, but he has more experience than Pena, and I'd rather have him be playing. But he didn't play for the first few months, and I get it. They were trying to catch him back on, like, on his feet. They're trying to make sure like he can get back into match fitness because he had already in all essence retired from the game. Oh, I'm getting lightheaded. I don't know how people who do like podcasts all the time like just talk. Let me go. One sec. I want to go get some water. I'm thirsty. Jesus Christ. I dropped my water. I almost dropped my water. That's some good water. Even got a little bit of a headache. Not ideal. Okay, I'm making sure no one's talking to me right now. Cool. Alright. So he came in at such a very crucial part for us. We really needed his help. And then when I saw his like debut against Barbastro, obviously he didn't do much. Barbastro, like fourth tier of like Spanish football in the Copa del Rey. Like you saw him play, and I was excited to see him play. But at the same time, I was like thinking to myself, like this is like a very small team, so maybe this is like the perfect game to get him like start getting integrated into the squad a little bit. But at the time, everyone still thought that Iñaki Peña was the guy. Everyone thought to themselves like, oh, Iñaki Peña is definitely gonna be the starter, and blah blah. No, he basically got kicked out. And honestly, at the same time, I don't kind of blame Flick for making the decision, considering how bad Peña had been like defending for the months of November and December. Like we could have finished La Liga months ago, right? We could have like legitimately been done with La Liga back in like March if we didn't drop all the points that we did in fucking November, December. And that's what gave kind of Real Madrid the chance to kind of like fight back. We fell back to third too, but we eventually clawed our way back by beating Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid. We beat them all to like comfortably like secure our prize. Deservedly so too. I don't want to see nobody being all like, oh no, Barcelona fucking we're shit the whole season. No, don't change. Like kid yourself, bro. Because Barcelona have like 4 of our players are Ballon d'Or contenders, right? One less than the others, but we'll talk about him later. But Szczesny did a lot of very important things for us when he came in, especially that Benfica game, bro. Oh my god. So like the first Benfica game when he crashed in the Balde, like my sister wanted his head. She hated Szczesny. She wanted him gone. And it's hard to blame her because like I was kind of mad too. I was like saying, what the fuck, man? Like you see Balde has the ball and you're still running out there and you like completely destroy Balde. And I was terrified. I thought he injured Balde. Because at the time that would have been devastating to us. Because we had a lot of still very important games to come by. But luckily for enough, Balde didn't get injured. Lucky enough we won that game. So like there's really little consequence to it other than the fact that like Szczesny just didn't look great. And so everyone's like saying, oh, we gotta bring Peña back. But no, Flick stuck to Szczesny. And eventually when we played against Benfica again, and their stadium. We played in their stadium again. and we lost. We got Kubarsi got a red card. And Kubarsi has gotten like very little yellow cards throughout the whole season, so his discipline is perfect, especially for being a center back. Look how nice this looks. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Look how good this whole fucking hallway looks now. Iñaki Peña looks. No, Iñaki. Who the fuck? Stesny didn't look all that when I first saw him for a little bit. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was a little freaked out. But the more he played in that Benfica game, bro, and he saved us. Like we were missing a man. Benfica were shooting and shooting and shooting and shooting and shooting, and he was just not letting them boy. And it's not like we were playing defensive. It's not like we were doing like what Tottenham did in the Europa League final, where like, we got a goal, and we went full fucking defense mode. Like no, we didn't do that. Like we were still like Barcelona were still doing what kind of cost us against Inter. We kept going for the attacking option, even though we were winning by a goal. But it left a lot of open space behind us. And Stesny played perfect. He defended and defended and defended. He saved, and he helped us, and he saved us from that result. It could have been worse, bro. Like, imagine if Benfica scored 4 goals in that game. Then you would have needed to score 3 or more at home. Because I've seen the chances, bro. Like, they should have scored, like, Benfica should definitely score, like, they should have won, like, by 4 goals. Like, looking at the chances, like the clear-cut chances that they had, they should have easily won that game by 4 goals. But they didn't. And it's because of Stesny. It will not be forgotten how crazy that performance was. I was very appreciative of the guy for that performance. I told my sister about it. Remember, you hated him? She's like, yeah, I love him now. I think everybody did. I think a lot of people were kind of very skeptical after seeing him play against Benfica the first time during the league phase. Only for him to actually come out and do really good for us. Now, okay, so I'm trying to like I want to get to all the players because like I gotta clean this room, I gotta get that ladder area, and I gotta clean the inside of like fucking there, right? Oh my god. Oh, this is gonna suck because not only wait a minute, so not only do I have to clean that side. Oh, this is gonna suck. What part did I clean? Wait a minute. Oh, it's this part. There you go. Or was it this part? I'm so confused. Oh, it is done. Or is it? I don't know. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Because that's going to be kind of difficult. But regardless, I'm trying to get to all the players. So Stesny, I give him a complete another pass for like the first few months, and even at the end of the season, he started leaking a little bit more goals than when he first started. Like we hadn't lost a single game when Stesny got in the goal. Even when he was playing that bad in that Benfica game, we still hadn't lost a single game. Right? So it's just kind of hard to like put any fault on the guy for that. So honestly, if we can convince him to stay for one more year, perfect. But it would have to be as a backup keeper, because even though I love how he helped us out when he came in to like help us out, I really do with Peña leaving. You know, this is all theoretical in my head. Like if everything goes the way I think it should go, with Peña leaving to Galatasaray, I think it'd be ideal to see Stesny. I think it'd be better, ideally, for him to play as to go back as being a backup keeper. I think that suits him too. Like he's already older, so he can still have like he can still train and play with the boys. But at the same time, I can get why he wouldn't want that, and I can see him saying, "All right, now I'm actually gonna retire now because they don't need me as a first-team goalkeeper." So I think I'll be leaving. In all reality, I do think Barcelona are gonna keep Ter Stegen for another season, and I do think that Stesny will probably leave and probably retire, and maybe even Peña will stay another season. But in my ideal world, Ter Stegen leaves, Peña goes to Galatasaray, and Stesny becomes our backup keeper. This is all stuff I want to happen. Whether it happens or not, I don't know. It's not gonna. I really doubt that's gonna like actually how things are gonna transpire. But it's what I want to happen. So Stesny, I'd keep him as a backup keeper. Moving on to the next player. Let's see who the next player is. Kubarsi. Amazing. I remember seeing him play for the first time for Barcelona, because yeah, you can say like, oh, you watched him Athletic. I don't really watch Barcelona Athletic, especially because it's hard, because like a lot of times you go to websites to be like, hey, like Barcelona Athletic scores, it doesn't even show you who scored the goals sometimes, and that's like annoying because like you really want to see like how all these young players are doing. I always remember like really interested to see how Mikael Faya's progression was going because he was doing really well for the Barcelona Athletic, and then I was like, why is he playing for the main team? Come on. But you never got to see like the statistics or anything as like I wanted to. But he apparently had a really good season and whatnot. And Kubarsi, I never saw him play. I never even heard of him really, to be quite frankly honest with you. I don't know if that's just like my fault as a Barcelona fan. Like usually you keep up with the Masia towns. Like right now I'm keeping really big tabs on like Noah Darovic and what's his name? This is I forgot his name already. Fuck, I'm just proving my point even worse. But there's this African kid who's killing it right now. He has like more goals than Lamine Yamal did at this point in his career at Barcelona Athletic. And I forget his name, but he's doing really good. And it makes me happy. It makes me happy to see Barcelona like youngsters like fucking thriving, and then maybe at some point we can use them in the first team. And it's just gonna be so exciting to see like this squad just come together in like unison. You know, it makes me very excited for what's to come. Pause. And oh, so satisfying. Little clink. Look about Kubarsi, bro. Like, what do I say? What can I say to like even like emphasize even more how much this kid is crazy? His composure on the fucking ball, bro, as a center back is absurd. Cause especially like the way Barca are playing right now under Flick, bro. Like you have to have so much like tolerance, like from the pressure. You gotta be like not even be phased by the fact that here comes these 6'8" fucking grown ass men like Vedat Muriqi running at you to try and steal the ball off of you. Fast people like Vinicius Jr. and Kylian Mbappe running at you with the intention to steal that ball off of your feet. And these guys are strong, they're big, they're scary. And he's 18. And he just coolly composes himself and passes it like nonchalantly out into the midfield where Pedri or Frankie de Jong are at. And that is bonkers, bro. It is crazy to see that Kubarsi has so much calmness and tranquility in those situations where I feel like people, any other regular person would have shit themselves. I am like super proud to see that he's at Barcelona. I remember the first time I saw him when we played. Like I remember how bad our fucking like financial situation was, where we had like literally we played against I think it was Espanyol, and we had to fly all the way to America to play against Club America, in the fucking pouring rain, bro. Like that shit was terrible. The players were probably pissed. I was probably pissed. I would be pissed. I would be like, I'm not playing these games. You gotta be fucked up. I'm gonna pretend to be injured or some shit. But I remember seeing Kubarsi play that game, and I remember being impressed. I thought his like ball control was good. I liked his slide tackling. I thought it was really good. And overall, yeah, but nothing crazy at the moment. But it wasn't until the game against Napoli, bro. When he played against Napoli, oh my god, he pocketed Victor Osimhen, right? And before, no, there's nothing to scoff at. Like we gotta just process what I'm saying right now. He pocketed Victor Osimhen. I remember one tackle where, like, I think it was Politano or no, it was Kvaratskhelia. He passed the ball perfectly into the way of Osimhen. Osimhen was running in. If he would have got past Kubarsi, he would have been through on goal. Kubarsi had the perfect slide tackle. Perfect slide tackle. And it made sure that Victor Osimhen did not get that goal that he needed. It would probably make our job a lot harder that season before we played against PSG, which depression. And honestly, bro, there's nothing else to say. I'm not. Like I said, I'm trying to get to every player before like I clean this whole fucking mess. So I'd like to try to be as brief as I can with the players that are just quite frankly obvious, the ones that like are gonna go through. So yeah, Kubarsi, he stays. I'd probably want to give him a fucking lifetime contract if I could, to be quite frankly honest with you. It's too early, Carlos. You can't be giving lifetime. How about you suck my big fat juicy nuts? Because what he is doing right now is also as good as Lamine Yamal. Probably even like a little bit more under the radar because he's a defender. Like it's always easy to look at an attacker and be like, oh, he's like dribbling past 5 different like grown ass men. Well, this guy is like pocketing grown ass men. And it's just so refreshing to see like the squad just advance in this kind of way. Moving on to the next one. Whoops, wrong one. Moving on to the next one. Oh my god. All right, we're gonna talk about Araujo now, and this is one I do have to kind of like drag out a little bit more because look at that, like the silhouette. It's kind of funny. Um, he needs to leave. And I remember when I first saw Araujo, and I was like very like entranced with him, like the way I am right now with Kubarsi. I'm like, I hope nothing like what happens like nothing happens to Kubarsi like what happened to Araujo. Because a lot of people like Flick came out recently today and like defended Araujo, saying like, oh, he suffered through a lot of injuries, so I'd like to rely on him for next season. Whereas I completely disagree. I don't think it was because of the injuries that he was suffering. I think he's suffering because he just doesn't fucking think. Araujo does not have game knowledge. He does not have the good IQ for the game. The amount of times he makes rash decisions, or he runs out of play, or just does something stupid, like the Inter Milan game, alright? I've already said that like that game was a little bit out of our hands. Like we tried our best and we just couldn't get over the line. And if Sommer didn't have like, such an amazing game, we would have gone through. But that being said, the last goal against Acerbi, bro, was ridiculous because Araujo was in a position where he should have done better. But because he just has no fucking like football IQ, like he starts. I remember I saw him like crying. I get it. Gerard Martin got fouled. He did get fouled. It didn't get called. Oh wow, play the fucking game. And we can see it off of it. And he was supposed to be guarding Acerbi, and he didn't guard Acerbi. And if he would have done that, we would have like blocked off Acerbi. That would have been a goal, and we would have been through to the next. Like we would have been through to the Champions League final. Same thing last year. We were beating PSG by 2 goals, and we had the chance to score even more goals. Before the red card even happened, there was a chance where Lewandowski had the ball and he shot a goal. If he would have scored that, game over. I legitimately think that would have been game over. I think PSG would have like had like they wouldn't have had like the confidence to keep trying to be like, oh guys, we still got this. Never give up. Like they didn't have that kind of personality back then. Nowadays they do, but not back then. So Lewandowski, like it would have been a different game. But it's the fact that Araujo just doesn't think properly, man. He rushed into the challenge. He pulled Barcola backwards when he thrown goal. Red card, obvious red card. I must add. I was hoping the goal when I saw the replay that maybe he was offside. No, perfectly onside. And yeah, Barcelona lost that game. Again, that's a game that got me pissed off because it's just because all of our stupidity. And then Xavi subbed off Lamine Yamal, which is like still bonkers to me. I would have subbed off like Lewandowski and brought in and like figured something else that way. Because you need to have Lamine Yamal on the pitch. And the fact that Xavi subbed him off was like, ugh, I can't get the idea behind it. We needed Lamine so badly in that position so he can help us dribble past their defense. Because that's something we needed. We lacked creativity after Lamine got off the pitch. And it sucked. It really did suck. Whereas this year, I do feel more confident about our team and stuff. And we also had like the whole drama with Araujo being like, everyone was like, oh, he's leaving. He's gonna go to Juventus, and that's it. Only for him to turn around, like do a 360-degree turn, and be like, never mind, I'm staying. But he did make sure to add a release clause into his contract, like around 50-60 million release clause. And I'm really hoping that some team, Manchester City, Juventus, any other team, look at that and be like, we're bringing him in. Manchester United, go and take him to Manchester United. I beg, take him over there. And yeah, I think it's time to let him go. I fell in love with him when he first appeared for Barcelona. He did really well for his first season at the club. Like I remember seeing him and thinking, oh, he's gonna pocket Vinicius, and he did. He did really well at pocketing people like Vinicius in games like that, which made people love him so much. Not anymore though. Nowadays, he's just recklessly going on the challenges. He's not really thinking straight when he's playing on the ball. So, and his football IQ is just really low. Like he doesn't think properly. He doesn't strategize. All cars are being too harsh. Like he's helped us so many times throughout the years. And I'm like, bro, last year he did not help us at all. At all. And that's where that's where I'm standing on him. I think we should sell him. As soon as someone comes and plays the release clause, just have him go. Don't even try and refute it. Don't even try and convince Araujo like, hey Araujo, they want to pay your release clause, but you should stay anyway. No, he's got to go. Next person, Andreas Christensen, keep. I cannot emphasize this enough. I love Christensen. I think people forget this because he didn't play all season back practically with that Achilles injury that he was suffering through. but people really need to remember how good Christensen is. He is so good. If he would have been the one to come on instead of fucking Araujo, if he would have been the one to come on instead of Araujo, bro, in the Champions League semifinal against Inter Milan, we would have gone through. And I'm not even making this to be like, oh, Carlos, you don't know that. I fucking know that. Christensen comes on. He's way more level-headed. Because look at the game against Valladolid, bro. Look at that game. Or Espanyol, even. Defenders were running through on goal. And Christensen, being the smart and composed man that he is, he used his football IQ. He didn't foul the guy. Because he knows that he's the last one on goal and he's going to get a red card for it. And he waits. He's pressuring. He's still joining to try and catch up to the guy, but at the same time, he's waiting. He's not just going to tackle just for no fucking reason. It would not surprise you to know that Christensen has not ever got a red card for Barcelona. Because he doesn't do shit stupidly. He doesn't just rush into challenges so nonchalantly. And Christensen, he has done more for this team than Araujo has. To be quite frank with honest with you. I remember the back line, people were like, oh, the back, quote unquote, the back from back line. It sounds very confusing, but it's because we have Balde, Araujo, Christensen, and Kunde. I'm sorry, I'm standing up right now. There's some clothes I have to hang up. And bro, Christensen, underrated as fuck, man. Like his interceptions, class. The way he steals the ball off of players, class. His aerial prowess, class. He scored a lot of goals for us last season. In a season where we were doing pretty bad on goal scoring and stuff, he was the one defender, more than Araujo, more than Inigo Martinez, more than Kubarsi for the time that he played, more than any of those guys. He scored the most goals for us when it came to like corner kicks and stuff because you can rely on seeing him there. And I remember seeing him like have chances too. Again, like he's a little rusty because he's been out for so long, but against Espanyol and Valladolid. And I just cannot fathom why you wouldn't have thought to yourself, like, maybe I should have Christensen in the field when playing against Inter Milan. Again, it's Inter Milan games, bro. I really do think they're, like, poorly managed from Hansi Flick. Man-managed, at least. Right? So, it is what it is. I want to keep Christensen. I'm going to keep it brief as I can. I think he's great. I know he's being rumored to leave the club with teams like Newcastle United kind of, like, interested in him. Which, if they get him, fucking hell, man. Like, Newcastle United got even better because they're, like, already good as it is. The only reason I'd like to give Christensen away is if maybe, like, we can convince him to, like, add it to, like, a Isak deal. It's like, they're like, oh, we want 150 million for Isak. If we can convince him to drop that by a good couple hundred million. But that's not going to happen, obviously. That's the only way I can see how, like, Christensen leaving Barcelona would be beneficial. But, again, it is highly likely that he could leave, but I don't want him to leave. If he wants to stay, he has every right to stay. He has a contract, right? And maybe you can even convince him to extend the contract. And maybe even Flick likes him more now. Maybe Flick sees him as like, hey, I really do like Christensen. I want to play him ahead of players like Araujo. Which to me would be fucking amazing. Like, I would rather see Christensen play every day of the week over Araujo's dumbass. Alright. With that being said, let's talk up the next person. Which I think I saw. And it was Inigo Martinez. Fuck, wrong one. Oh, it was Eric Garcia. Alright, Eric Garcia. I was part of the team that said that we should definitely sell him in the in the January transfer window. There was teams like Como and Girona that were Girona was interested again to bring him on loan. While there was teams like Como who were willing to pay, like, I think it was like 15 million for him. And I thought to myself, great. Let's get some money back, because I think we got him for free from Manchester City, so it's like gonna be profit regardless. And considering how Barcelona's situation is, like financially, you'd want to keep what you would call it. You'd want to have like to get some kind of profit that way coming in, like not only homegrown talent, but Eric Garcia. I mean, technically he is homegrown talent. He grew up in La Masia, but at the same time, like you wanted to get rid of him. I wanted to get rid of him because I was bad. But at the same time, Flick came and said I need him because the squad's kind of like pulled apart a little bit at the moment, and I'd rather keep him in the squad so that way I have like some kind of backup. And thank God that he did, because Eric Garcia has come in super clutch in like the last few months. Whether it be in the midfield as a DM along with Pedri, whether it be in center back whenever he needs to help replace a player like Kubarsi or Inigo Martinez so they can get some rest, or recently as a right back, he has like performed admirably as a right back. To be quite frankly honest with you, and I didn't expect it. As soon as I saw him playing as right back, I said, "What's going on here?" But no, as a right back, he scored against both Inter Milan and Real Madrid consecutively. And he's like running. He's actually like linking up pretty well with Yamal. So I'm full on now. Like we should let him stay. I'm pulling give him another season now at the club. But it's just gonna be as a backup though. Like you're not gonna rely on like you're gonna be like, oh, Eric Garcia the starting lineup every day of the week. No, ever. But I do think he has now earned the right, the absolute right to try and compete for a position in the squad, rather than other seasons where it's just kind of like, oh no, Eric Garcia, he's gotta go. Him and another player who came from Manchester City the same summer or the same winter transfer window. But we'll get to him soon. Eric Garcia, I'd like for him to stay. That's just my opinion on the matter. Inigo Martinez. He is my hero. He's my daddy. That's right, you heard me. He's my daddy. That motherfucker old. He should not be as good as he is right now. And yet he outstands me of how he's able to turn his career around. And a lot of people can give credit to Flick, and I do. I do give credit to Flick for like finding like not letting him go, because like for all intents and purposes, he was 1 foot out the door at that point. But Flick came on and said that I want to keep him. I want him to stay at the Barcelona club, and I'd like for him I think I like his profile and everything after seeing him in preseason training. And it was like a decision that a lot of us Barca fans were kind of like scratching our heads about a little bit. We were kind of like thinking to ourselves, like, we can sell him, bro. We can sell him and make some more room in our budget for players like Nico Williams or other players we want to bring in. Because at the end of the day, we only brought in Olmo in the summer transfer window. But we also did really good things like extend contracts for like really important players, especially recently, like with Hansi Flick being extended to 2027 and Rafinha being extended to 2028. But more on them in a bit. But overall, we did do good things throughout this time. Even like outside the transfer window, we just extended some contracts, which I think are going to be very like crucial for our future. Which again, I give all credit to Laporta for like emphasizing this kind of situation. Because we're not still in a situation where we're not in a situation where we can just go buy anybody we want. So we want to make sure the players who are here right now and doing good for us right now can stay here for another few, like 5 years or so, to help us out. After that, it's like all fair game. Like you never know what's gonna happen. But Inigo Martinez was a very pleasant surprise. No one expected him to do good. Nobody. Like if you get a Barca fan, you said, I knew he was gonna be a great player. I knew he was gonna be part of the starting 11 that would help us win La Liga, Copa del Rey, Supercopa, and get us to the semifinals of the Champions League. You'd be lying. Quite frankly, you'd be lying. No one thought this. No one thought that Inigo Martinez, a guy who had only played like 10 games of all last season in total, even when he was injured and came back, and literally in the same game that he came back from his injury, he got injured again. And it was like a Copa del Rey game, I think it was. I can't remember against what team it was, but it was like a low division team, and we got fucking annihilated. No, we didn't get annihilated, but like he got annihilated. He came back from an injury, and he just got injured right away again. And you gotta think that, like, from his perspective, that's probably like very like demoralizing, you know. But he came back. Flick gave him a chance, and he took it from the fucking horns, bro. Amazing leadership at the back, something that Araujo could never do. Araujo's one of our captains, and he just doesn't have like the leadership qualities. Oh yeah, he'll go yell at the ref and he'll try and like put some energy behind you. But when it comes to organizing the back line, when it comes to telling Kubarsi, hey, pasarla para allá, or telling him to rush and push forward, you don't get that from Araujo. You get that from Inigo Martinez. And he's been so crucial for us, and I'm very happy he extended his contract for another year. Because after that, I do think this is going to be the last year we're going to have with him. But I do really want to see other players like him come in. And I don't know who else it could be. I legitimately don't, and it freaks me out because I don't know what's going to happen. Like, if he has another great season next season, like, if he plays and he still does what he's doing right now, along with Kubarsi and I hope Christensen, I'd rather see Araujo out the door. I'd want him to give him another contract extension for another year. Like, these are like things that you want. I want to see from these guys. If he can perform this same way next year, then why not? And I think I'm very proud to see him in the team and thriving so well that he is. And I look forward to it. I look forward to seeing him. I look very forward to seeing him next season and see how well he can do, and hopefully he can continue this amazing form that he's under right now. So that's my consensus on Inigo Martinez, right? So next one. Okay, now we're going to the wing backs. Alejandro Balde. Nothing else to say really. World class. We really missed him against the Inter Milan. Even though Gerard Martin did get 2 assists on that game. It was kind of a little fun story in the Talk FCB Discord server. Ultra Magnus was flaming on both Dani Olmo and Gerard Martin, saying that we need to sub them both off because they're not doing nothing for the team. Literally in the second half, Gerard Martin assists Dani Olmo for one of the goals. So he's like, bro, and all of us are telling him, bro, keep talking shit, keep talking shit. Come on, give him, because every time you talk shit about these guys, they either score a goal or they assist a fucking goal. And he did. He talked shit. He's like, I don't think Rafinha's doing shit. And look at that. Rafinha scored the fucking 87. And then after that, and I think it's his fault, to be honest, because in all reality, if he would have kept dissing him, because he didn't diss him anymore. We're like, oh, he won. If he would have kept dissing him, I think we would have fucking won. I'm kidding, obviously. But, no, Alejandro Balde he's just so good. I remember seeing him in, I think it was FIFA 20 or FIFA 21, one of them, when Jordi Alba stepped Barcelona, and he was like, Balde was like, there's a backup. And I said, who is this guy? I remember playing with him, and he had a lot of pace. And I said, damn, like, if Barca can, like, if he actually is this fast for Barca, like, in real life and shit, he'd make a good, like, replacement for Jordi Alba. So that's why that's why I'm proud of myself, because whenever, like, he did make his eventual debut, he showed up, and he showed the world why he's so good. And I remember that, and when I saw him play, and everyone's like, oh, he's so great, like, who's this kid? And I said, I know who that fucker is. I saw him play. And everyone's like, really? You saw him play? Like in the athletic, like in the B team? I said, nah, man, I play FIFA. I just play with him all the time, and like he was in the team, and I liked using him as a left back more than I like using Jordi Alba. And people were like, you're lying. And I said, no, I'm not, bro. Dead ass. Damn, I'm really fucking in my throat. My throat is like so itchy right now. But Balde, I'm not gonna say much about him. He's a very good player. I do think that we need to rely on him for the future. And yeah, that's all I gotta say about Balde. Next up, Gerard Martin. Alright, so I do appreciate what he's been able to do coming off the bench. Like when we start winning games and we're like winning like 2-0 or 3-1, whatever, like we have a good healthy advantage, and he comes on, I think he's really good. I think he comes on really well. He's better defensively than he is at attacking. Attacking wise, Gerard Martin isn't all the way there when it comes to like stuff like that. But his attacking, his defending is actually pretty decent, in my opinion. I see him he pocketed one of the goals we scored against Leganés only happened because he was able to steal the ball off the halfway line. And that's something that Balde needs to like kind of like try and improve on a little bit, I would say, which is like his defending, his overall defending. And that's something that Gerard Martin can do. However, I do think we can do better. I really do think it's like he's all right, but I see him being like a good like all right for a team like Espanyol or Real Betis, maybe even Celta Vigo. Like he's like one of those kind of players, right? Like I don't see him as like Barcelona starting for a team like Barcelona, and that's what he did some of this time this season. And although I did not expect him to do as well as he did when playing against teams like Real Madrid and Inter Milan. I mean he did get run past. He got really like outran, really, to be quite frankly honest. But it still wasn't what I thought was going to happen. I still thought he was going to get absolutely destroyed. But that didn't happen. He actually like held his own for a little bit until he didn't. Overall though, I probably pass up on the chance to sign him. Not sign him, but like keep him. Any club comes in asking like they ask me, hey, how much? I'm gonna tell him like right away. 10 million. And I can definitely see him going to like either another La Liga team, like a Valencia, or like I said, like the teams I said before. But I don't think his future's at Barca. I do think there are players that I'd rather have the team have. And yeah, Jules Koundé, outstanding. Like I don't know what you expected. I was gonna be like, no, I hate Jules Koundé. Hell no, outstanding. It's not his favorite position. He's very much like been very vocal about how he does not like being a right back. I don't know if it's the same case anymore, but I remember sometime there was like someone posted something like a journalist, and he said that Jules Koundé, he put in his post that Jules Koundé is beginning to start appreciating his role more as a right back or liking it, and he flat out came out on social media and said lies. So to see him do that and still come into this season and do as fucking well as he has at the role of right back, linking it perfectly with Lamine Yamal so many times, I love it. I just love it. It makes you think like, why was he playing at center back in the first place? Like, if he's just this good at right back. I know if like, cause sometimes like switched him out a little bit, like he would sub on players like Hector Fort and just have like Koundé move to the right to the center back position again. But those are games that are like well truly gone. So there's like really no reason to have Koundé running up and down the pitch over and over again. But you want to keep him on the field enough so he can still have like an influence, whatever. Um, but yeah, again, I'm trying like, I'll give my praises, but I'm not gonna go too much into depth with players that I think are like first team players that they should be in the first team squad regardless of whatever the what you call it is. I don't even know what I said. What you call it, whatever. Koundé starts. He's just the main starter for Barcelona's right back spot at the moment. And you don't see anybody having a reason as to why that's not the case. If anyone does, I'd like to really hear it, why they would not want to have Koundé as a right back. Hector Fort. Now, although I do think he's a good player, and I do think he has not played enough. I do think that the reasons that we've seen him play and he's looked rusty is mainly because Flick hasn't played him. So in that case, I'm not saying we should sell him, but I think we should send him out on loan. Like I've been mentioning teams, but I think the perfect team for him to be on loan would be Real Betis. Manuel Pellegrini is a great coach when it comes to like whenever we send him like young Barcelona talents, but we don't even send them on loans. We send them for free, or we just like sell them to the guys for very cheap. And although I understand why, because like for example Juan Miranda, he was a Real Betis after leaving Barcelona for very cheap, but we had like a little clause in there that if he ever got sold again, we got a big percentage of it, which we did from when he went to Bologna. And I really do think that I would rather have like Juan Miranda in our lineup rather than Gerard Martin. To be quite frankly honest with you, again, I was just trying to be nice to Gerard Martin, but I just cannot see him as a Barcelona player, man. He was just not that good. People think, oh, that's mean. I don't care. But he has, but for I do think he needs to go on loan to Real Betis, specifically Betis. But on loan, I don't know. I don't want to see us sell him yet. Like I think it'd be too early and too foolish to just be outright like, oh, we're selling him now. That's all the best we're gonna get out of him. I think that'd be very foolish to do, and I think that'd be like the wrong move in general. I think we need to try our very best to send him on loan, show Flick that he can play in La Liga consistently. Like I know you want to start with Koundé, you can, but at the same time, there's games where like you want to rest Koundé. You don't want him to play every single second of every single game. So sub him out for Hector Fort, and that's something Flick doesn't do enough. So hopefully like we can see him. I don't think he's gonna stay this season. I think he will definitely either leave by being sold or on loan. But I do hope it's a loan move to a team like Real Betis. I think that'd be the perfect move for Barca and Betis because Betis will get a very good player to help them out in their endeavors in the Europa League next season. And I mean, I hope they can win the Conference League this season, Real Betis. But it's not looking. I'm not very confident because Chelsea are there and Chelsea are a pretty decent side. So yeah, that's Hector Fort. I think we have to send him on loan though. So I think that's the entire back line for Barca, as far as I'm aware. I think so. But let's go on to the next one. Who is Marc Casado? Marc Casado. All right. When he first came into the team, he was very fucking good. But the more time went on, he kind of like slowed down his like progression a little bit. He started like making more belligerent mistakes. He wasn't really offering much on the pitch as much as he was when he first was playing. But ever since he's been injured for a little bit, it has made me think like I have been thinking like, oh, what would have like if only we had Casado on the pitch, because he does offer like that kind of like, incentive like energy. Like he's gonna run, he's gonna run, he's gonna try and make that brutal pass like that one he did against Real Madrid, that in that 4-0 win, and he passed that ball perfectly to Lewandowski. Damn. Let's just get this little thing done. And I do appreciate Casado for all that situation. Oh my god, this is beautiful. Look at the whale. It's a shark, manta ray, hammerhead shark, and a turtle. Um, but yeah, overall, I think I am very appreciative of what he offers the team. He's a good rotational player. I don't think we're going to sell him. I do think he's going to stay at the squad for the next season. I don't understand why you would want to sell him, because again, it's not like he's playing bad. It's not like he's like doing stupid shit and like everyone's like Gerard Martin. Like no one has like the same doubts on Casado like the way we have on Gerard Martin. Like we see Gerard Martin on the field and we're like, oh no, you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm not sure about that one, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think he's gonna stay. I hope he stays, because I'd hate to lose him overall, because he does add like some good squad depth. Like you want to give like people like Pedri or Frankie or someone else a little bit of a break, he can come in. And why do I say this like in general when it comes to that situation? Because mainly, what the hell? Is the roof not dirty in there? Because mainly the guy we're about to talk about next is a person that I think Flick wants to incorporate in the midfield better than Casado, and that's Marc Bernal. And even though we saw him for only 3 games this season, overall, we saw him in preseason a lot more too. But the reason I think that we're gonna see Marc Bernal play a way more more prominent role than Casado did is because Flick was playing Bernal all the time, starting every game. Even like when like Pedri was like he put Pedri in that back line, he never put Casado as a starter. He put Bernal, and Bernal was like so good, and like he can like calm the game down. Like you're not gonna think, oh, he's gonna do something stupid to fuck up the game or whatever. No, you didn't think that. He was so calm and composed. He's tall too, so he's not gonna do something that retarded. And he's gonna be back by the time like next season starts. I don't know if exactly right after when next season starts, but he will definitely be there. And I think that is very exciting, incredibly exciting to think about. So again, I can't give him too much of a grade. I do think he's gonna stay along with Casado too, obviously. But I think he's gonna Casado's gonna be made like more for squad depth rather than actual like starting 11. Whereas I legitimately think that Bernal could break into like the starting lineup to help us like whenever eventually Frankie De Jong wants to leave or whatever, and we needed someone to partner up Pedri in that midfield role. Because I think Pedri's the kind of guy who wants to stay at Barca for the rest of his career. I don't see why Pedri wouldn't want to stay at Barcelona for the rest of his career, So I definitely do see Bernal like trying to like fitting in that box, and Flick trying to mold him to be in that box, right? So I'm definitely putting a lot of my eggs for my basket into Bernal. I do think he's gonna become a really good player. I think he's gonna have that experience, like that Busquets kind of level energy, where like you're winning a game, you don't want to have the team like doing some random stupid shit. He's gonna be the perfect guy to calm down that tempo, like the way Pedri tries to do it. But like Pedri does it like from a position where he has to be more higher up the pitch, whereas Bernal can do it from like deep down the position where he's gonna be next to like Kubarsi and Inigo Martinez, where they can like the 3 of them can talk to each other and be like, hey, we need to slow this down. So I'm really excited to see how well Marc Bernal does advance for the future. Next player, I think it was Pedri. Yeah, Pedri. Do I need to say anything? Let's be quite frankly honest with ourselves. Do I need to say anything about Pedri? Do I? The guy is out. Classic. And to be quite frankly honest with you, I can really legitimately, like, if it was up to me, I can really legitimately find myself like scratching my head on whether I'd have him winning the Ballon d'Or over players like Lamine Yamal and Rafinha, because Pedri has just been that fucking good all the time. The only difference is this year is that he didn't get injured once. Obviously, I'm knock on wood. I don't want to see tomorrow against Bilbao, Flick plays him, and then he gets another muscle injury. But even then, it wouldn't be that big of an issue considering that the season's about to end. Like, it's only the last game of the season. Like, I legitimately think that Flick should just play like a whole B team of Barca players in that game, because there's really no reason to like even try and win that game. Like, even Bilbao, there's nothing they're going to be playing for either. So I can see both teams. Like, I would like to see both of the managers be like, hey, let's just play our B team. Like, we don't want our boys to get tired or hurt before like preseason starts. We don't want them to have a good, nice summer break so they can enjoy their time and not have like a torn muscle during that time. Or instead of like enjoying their time off, they're gonna have to be working really hard to try and get recovered in time for the next season. You know. But Pedri he's always had the class. I never doubted it. There's never been a game where I thought to myself, "Oh, Pedri's shit," ever. Even games where he wasn't playing as well as he could be, he was still outlandishly better than like half the like 20, not 20, like 50% of the rest of the players on the field. And that's including games like against Real Madrid too. Like Real Madrid will be destroying Barcelona, but Pedri was still in the midfield doing shit. You know? So I don't want to see none of this slander on Pedri. So I don't want to ever see no one like try and make the implication that Pedri is just not a good player, because that's just a fucking lie. The guy is so good. My sister has a crush on the guy, and I have a crush on the guy, to be frankly honest with you. So we'll just have to see what happens for him, because I got nothing else to say about the guy. He's just so good. Like, what do you want me to say? Like, want me to glaze him even more? I'll make a whole fucking video on Pedri probably. Regardless though, Pedri starter every day of the week. I don't see a world where like someone can be like, oh, he's not as good as you think he is. Because if they do say that shit like that, like, I have seen some Premier League fans try and make the comparison, be like, oh, he's not as good as Kevin De Bruyne, and I look at you with disgust. I think you need to get your whole fucking life checked ahead of you, but whatever. Gavi, I love Gavi. Why? It's not mainly because of football reasons. I just love the fact that he puts this like is the badge on his heart. He has his heart on his sleeve, and he refuses to let any other player like talk shit about him or the club that he loves, etc. Like whenever Vinicius tries to do what Vinicius does, like to get into people's heads and shit, Gavi's doing that to Vinicius. Like Vinicius thinks that he's like a world class fucking instigator. Look at Gavi. Gavi is like one of the best. And sometimes I see Real Madrid fans like, oh, I like Gavi, but it's kind of getting hard to defend the guy sometimes. Like we don't want you to defend our guy. Right? Like, we don't want you to come out here and be like, oh, Gavi does this for a reason. No, shut up. Like, he's not your fucking player, bro. He's our player. And we love him. We all absolutely love Gavi. It is true that this season, like, he's been a little bit more underwhelming just because of, like, he's coming back from his injury. He's trying to, like, get into the swing of things a little bit more. Even though, like, he's still jumping up and doing, like, rash tackles, you can tell that there's, like, an element to himself that isn't, like, 100%, like, recovered just yet. However, it is refreshing to know that he is like back and he's playing on the squad and he's a good rotational player. And you saw that game like against I can't remember what game it was, but there was a game where we were winning, and Flick said Flick was about to bring on Gavi, but Gavi told Flick, hey, no, maybe you should bring on Pablo Torre instead. And Flick's like gave him a hug and said, I love that I love that camaraderie from you, Gavi, I really do. So then he put on Pablo Torre instead of Gavi. You love to see it. And when fucking Pablo Torre came on, he fucking killed it. We gotta talk about that in a bit too. So Gavi, even though I do love the guy and everything, I'm not saying that we should sell him or anything. I think he's a great squad player. I'd like to keep him, obviously. But I do think this next season is going to be a little bit more of a magnifying glass to see like it's already been like he'll have been recovered for more than half a year, almost a year entirely, to be quite frankly honest. But it'll give us an idea to understand where fucking hell, man, call the fucking ladder. This is terrible. It'll be interesting to see how he actually performs for a whole year, rather than just, you know, we'll see what happens. Let's Clean this fucking door. Oh shit. I didn't get this side. Frankie De Jong. Well, I don't know if I kind of established how much I love Gavi, but I really do love Gavi. I wanted to see him play many more seasons at Barca. I wanted to see keep showing that love he has for the club on his fucking sleeve, bro. Every time. I don't want to see him leave. I don't want to see nothing like that happen. I want him to thrive in this Barcelona team. I really do. Frankie De Jong. Starting off this season, the way he was playing, bro, I was ready to throw him out the club. I was legitimately ready to just tell him, hey, you gotta get the fuck out of my fucking club, bro. Like, you're legit not helping in whatsoever. You're obviously scared of your own fucking legs of hurting again. And we can't have that kind of mentality when we're playing such a high pressing football. So, and like at the time, Casado was definitely ahead of him. Like I couldn't see like how Frankie could pass Casado at the moment. Because I know how good Frankie is. We saw his potential when he was at Ajax. They made it to the semifinals, and he was just one of the best players in his position at the time. And I've said this over and fucking over again. And people say like, "Oh, you're just saying it now because it's fucking successful now at Barcelona." And I'm like, "You fucking pieces of shit." I called it from the beginning that we needed to have not as a lone pivot. We needed Frankie to be along with someone else, someone who's going to be doing a lot more of the tackling. Helping out with the defense, because if you're gonna rely on Frankie to do all the defense by himself, then you're fucked. You basically shot yourself in the fucking dick. Whereas now, he has Pedri alongside him, and you know Pedri's gonna put as much work as it comes to like advancing the ball forward and pushing. Oh shit. Where like now I'm like, oh yeah, there it is. I've always said I wanted Frankie in a double pivot role. And a lot of people are like, oh, you're just saying that now because it worked. And I'm like, no, bro, I'm not saying that just because now it worked. I've said this since he showed up to the club. I always thought Barca should play with like a 4-2-3-1 formation. That's what we did this year. And look at that. Frankie's fucking thriving. So that's why I'm putting on my actually fucking cap. This room is ass, by the way. But no, I obviously like to keep Frankie. The only issue is his contract situation. Apparently, like there's being good negotiations right now between him and Laporta. They're trying to extend it for another like 2 or 3 years. From what he already has now, so it'd be like if it's 3 years, it'd be 4 years. If it's 2 years, it'd be 3 years. And that's something I'm okay with. I'm okay with that. I'd like to see him stay at the club and actually perform well. If we can get Austin to convince him to like push his wages down a little bit, I think that'd be really nice. Whether he does actually or not, I don't know. I'm more like concerned that he's just gonna be like, no, I want to just make money. He's just gonna like waste that fucking year of his contract before he goes to a different team that offer him the same amount of money practically, like a Man United or some shit. Which I don't even see happening anymore. I bet he's really relieved he didn't like fall into the temptation to go back to Ten Hag at Man United. Because as you know, Ten Hag is not there no more. Yeah, I got nothing else to say about that. Other than Frankie, I'd like for him to stay. I'd like for him to stay even longer if we can come to a consensus with his contract, especially his contract. Because I think again, great player, great potential. It's just a shame that he has like that whole contract situation that he refuses to kind of get sorted out at this point. Because you see players like Lamine Yamal and Rafinha who are like, oh yeah, we definitely want to sign the contract extension. You can see them actually making an effort with the club to try and figure out how to make it work for everybody involved. Whereas Frankie, he just seems like he's like hiding from it really. So we'll just have to see what happens ultimately. Is that light? Right, next person. Dani Olmo. I am a big fan of Dani Olmo. Again, we're talking about Ultra Magnus, the same guy who we were talking about just a second ago. Who he's very vocal about certain things at Barca, and he does not really care for Dani Olmo. And I can understand why that one. Like other players, I don't understand how like you can look at people like Ter Stegen and just be like, yeah, fuck off from my club. I don't want you here no more. It's not that he's been saying that, but he's always been like very like fuck Ter Stegen kind of attitude, and I'm like, bro, I don't even have that kind of attitude towards the guy. But he didn't. He'd rather. He's okay with signing Olmo already, and I just can't be okay with that because it's just been in his first year, and it's not that it was a bad year. I mean, I get it if he did like a really bad season like Torres in previous seasons, but this season he's like the times he's played and he's like had good games, he's been really fucking good. And he has that extra component factor in the midfield. And like, there's been a lot of rumors. We'll talk about the rumors in a little bit. But one of the rumors for Barcelona is the fact that Luis Diaz is like being really bigly, heavily rumored to come to Barcelona. And a lot of people just hate that idea. I understand why. And because he plays on the like, and why would you ever get a Luis when you can get a Nico Williams? But my biggest like issue with the whole thing of bringing Luis in is because you're gonna need him to play on the left side, and apparently the rumor is that like if he comes in, you're gonna bring him to play on that left side, and you're gonna push Rafinha to like the CAM role, where Daniel usually plays, and that's just not where Rafinha thrives. Rafinha's not a dribbler who can like work in like that I know of. Who knows? Maybe he fucking kills it in group training, and that's why Flick is like really considering the possibility of this move. But I just don't see it happening. Regardless, we're not talking about that one. I'm just talking about an example of like our CAM situation we have right now. I think Daniel Olmo's a great player. I think he fits that position way more than what's his name, Rafinha. So I'd rather keep Daniel in that position regardless. Obviously, he's had a really bad injury season, but we knew this when we signed him. That's why a lot of Barcelona players, like fans, like raise their eyebrow at the signing. And it's not because he's a bad player. None of us said like, oh, he's gonna be a shit player. None of us want him. He's just gonna be a liability. Will he ever be fit? Because it's not like Pedro. Pedro's had like one single injury problem, like with his fucking knee. And you've had players like what's his name, Ansu Fati, also with his knee. Like it's like a specific problem that you can work with and try and figure out what's going to happen, and that's how like Flick has basically fixed Pedri's problem. Whereas Daniel, it's everything. He's always injured. Something's always hurting him. It's like whenever you're fucking pretending you're sick so you don't have to go to school. Oh, my toe hurts. Oh, my fucking stomach hurts. Oh, my rib cage hurts. You know? And that's why I understand that there's like a frustration behind him as a player, because he's just not available to every single match that you want him to be available for, especially the important ones. But luckily for us, I think he's like, as these last few months have happened, these last 2 months, I think he stayed fit and he's looked good. He's been scoring goals, he's been providing stuff coming off the bench. And I like him, and I think we should definitely keep him for next season. I personally think it's way too early to be even considering selling him. Apparently, Manchester City were involved, like interested to bring him in, since Florian Wirtz said no to them. But unless they come back and like, because we paid like 60 million for him, unless they come out with some kind of similar price to that, I don't want to see him leaving our club. Unless we can also get another player out of that deal. But I don't know who else like Barcelona are going to sign necessarily right now, other than Erling Haaland. But obviously he just signed a contract extension, and so that's not happening. But yeah, I like Danilo. I don't want to see him leave. Keep him at the club. Fermin Lopez. At first, when he was under Xavi, he was super good, taking shots from outside the box, running in and causing havoc. I loved him so much, and I got tired of. But this season, it wasn't great. I'm not gonna lie to you. It just wasn't falling for the guy. Like, he was trying his best. Don't get me wrong. But it just wasn't working out for the guy. One second, let's see. Oh, yo, no. Gay. Anyway. It just wasn't working out for the guy. He wasn't scoring any goals. He wasn't assisting. He wasn't even playing that much, to be honest. Like, Flick would put him on more than he would put on Pablo Torre, which is still, we're about to talk about this. And he wasn't really doing nothing. It wasn't until like around like he played a really good game against Bayern Munich, like in like October, which was good. But after that, we just didn't really see him anymore. It's not until this end of this season that he's been really good. Like he's come back finally, and he's starting to do what he was doing really well before, which is being very chaotic. He ran in, he stole the ball, he'd be running past. Like people would be focusing on Lewandowski and Rafinha, but then he just ran out of nowhere and to grab the ball and just score from like a random area. He has a really good strong foot. He can kick the ball from anywhere in the field, and you think it's going on target. So that's like the aspect of him that it's like really decent and like the very like excitement to his character and to his player. And that's why I'd like to keep him. I'd like to keep him for next season. I mean, obviously, if someone comes out with a really big offer, like I think this is a false rumor, but if like for example, Manchester United were apparently reportedly interested in him for around 40 million euros, I think you have to accept that. For as much as well as he's been really good for us like these last few months, I can definitely see us selling Fermin for like a good 40 million. Like that's pure profit. Like you didn't spend a single dollar on this guy. He's gonna go to another club, and he's gonna thrive over there, regardless of how bad Manchester United are. I feel like he'll do really good over there. Um, but yeah, that's where we go into this player, and this is where like my big conundrum comes, and it's Pablo Torre. Me personally, this is just me. I'd keep Pablo Torre, and I'd give him more of a prominent role. To me, Pablo Torre is the perfect backup to Olmo. Like if Olmo's playing or he gets injured, whatnot, whatever, you bring in Pablo Torre, and Pablo Torre is way more creative than Olmo. Olmo has like the ability to like dribble past like eight different, like not eight, oh that's a little exaggeration, like three or four players. Like he'll have a bunch of people on him, and Olmo just like a really weird like trick with his legs, and like, he'll make it go behind himself and whatever, and he'll get past it somehow. And there he goes. He goes through on goal, and then he can A pass it to Lewandowski or Rafinha, or just take the shot himself. And I think Pablo Torre, not that he does that, but Pablo Torre is really good when it comes to creative with his creative control. Like he reminds me so much of Pedri. And I'm being dead ass. And it's like people are like, no, how does he remind you of Pedri? Pedri like miles ahead better than him. And I agree, but he gives me like that same confidence of like those through passes. Like against Villarreal, bro, he had like the through pass he did to Lewandowski for the first goal was crazy, and we just don't give him enough credit for it. This fucking room, bro. Oh my god. Um, yeah, this is gonna take a bit. And this is where my conundrum is. I'd much rather sell Fermin Lopez. Like this is my take. I just said that I'd rather keep Fermin, right? But I just say if a big offer, like a huge offer comes in, which I don't think is gonna happen. I don't think like a 40 plus million deal is gonna like come through the door. But if it does, let's say for example Manchester United, who have been linked with them before, come out and be like, hey, we're willing to pay you 40 million for Fermin Lopez. I'd cut off your hand and take that money, because I do legitimately think that Pablo Torre is a much more capable player playing in that position than Fermin Lopez. I think Fermin Lopez is more like if you played in a 4-3-3 situation, like if you can have Pedri on the left side of him and he's on the right side, and you have like a CDM, a good CDM like a Mark Bernal behind, right? That's the position I can see that Fermin Lopez can thrive perfectly in the system, and like we're like he's better than Pablo Torre. But in the system that Hansi Flick plays, I don't understand why Pablo Torre has not seen more minutes. Like Gavi had to tell the coach himself, like, hey, maybe you should bring on Pablo Torre instead of like bringing me on, you know? And that to me is insane. And I don't agree with that's like one of the things that I have really disagreed with Flick throughout this season is the lack of trust in Pablo Torre. Because I legitimately think that Pablo Torre is hands down one of our best midfielders, creative midfielders. And Flick just doesn't give them the opportunity. And that to me is outstanding. Like, not outstanding, but just surprising. Right? And I really want to see the guy thrive. I really do. I think he's really good. I want to see him actually thrive as a Barcelona player. But unfortunately, I don't think it's going to happen anymore. I think it's already a little bit too late for the guy. Because I do think this summer he's going to probably either A, get loaned out, which I would prefer that situation, because he did get loaned out to Girona one time, but he got injured. He fractured his hand on loan, so he was able to play properly. Oh, but Carlos, he fractured his hand. That should have nothing to do with his legs. Then you should play football, bro. And understand how hard it is to play football, with a fucking broken hand. That's one of the situations. And yeah, that's just my biggest that's like my gray area when it comes to the season overall, because I would have loved to see Pablo Torre have more of an impact on our team, and I think he can. It's not that he's coming on the field and being so fucking terrible that you have to get him off the field right away, and like you don't want to see him at the club no more. No, it's not the fact that I'm disappointed I'm disappointed in the fact that he hasn't been playing. That's like one of my biggest gripes of the season. Seeing how like much love and care Fermin Lopez got, which I still understand. I love Fermin Lopez, but to see him get all of it, but see Paulo Torre get none of it, hurts. And that's why I feel like he is gonna leave. But if it's up to me, I'd keep him. Like not even loan him out. I'd keep him. All right, that's all the midfielders. Now we're going to the attack. Our beautiful attack. Starting with Rafinha. To see what happened to Rafinha, bro, you need to make a documentary about it. Like dead ass. Like the Amazon Prime series fucking I forget what it's called. That's like they did one for Tottenham, they did one for Juventus. Like what's it called? Wait 1 second. I'm looking at my phone now. I think it's Then and Now. Document All or Nothing. That's what it's called. All or Nothing. The All or Nothing documentary series of like they should make one for Barcelona this season so we can like have a proper discussion on how the hell Rafinha turned his gaming his career so like around. Like it's crazy. Like no one expected this. Again, everyone was ready to sell him off to either Saudi Arabia or whatever club came in knocking for him. Like we were so ready to get rid of him. And at the end of the day, he stayed. He wanted to stay. Flick wanted him to stay. We didn't end up getting Nico Williams because of financial reasons, and maybe it's for the better. Because honestly, what Rafinha has done this season is absolutely amazing. And I want to know how it happened. I want to know exactly what Flick has said to Rafinha like day by day to understand how well he got the best out of Rafinha. Because it's beautiful. Like a guy, like you can tell Rafinha was not living the best of the best in days. It's not the fact that he hated Barcelona, because Rafinha has always like said out loud that he's a big Barcelona fan. So that's why whenever I hear people be like, "Oh well, Barcelona got lucky they signed him because he had other options," I'm like, "No, bro. Those other options were just unlucky that he was such a big Barcelona fan." Rafinha said that he's always grown up watching Barcelona when he lived in Brazil, and all that whatnot, and all that nonsense. And to see him now, like, and he was not having a good time when he was playing for Barca for a little bit. You can tell he was struggling. You can tell he wasn't enjoying his football. You can tell that things weren't coming out for the guy. But now, oh my God, Ballon d'Or contender. Personally, this is just me personally. I'd probably put him third, behind Lamine Yamal second, and behind Pedri at first. When it comes to like impact and stuff, because I'm not gonna deny, like we can't deny the goals he scored. But I think overall, like if Rafinha doesn't play a game, I don't think it's as big as a consequence as like if Lamine Yamal or Pedri didn't play a game. You know what I mean? Still good, but like it's just crazy. And it sounds bad talking bad about him, but it's just so nice to have this kind of problem where like 4 of your players at Barcelona have been as good or better than one that's had like a 50 plus goal game, 50 plus goal season, a goal contribution season. And it's very nice. It's nice to see players who may have struggled in the past actually start to thrive now. And if he wins the Ballon d'Or, like a lot of people think he should, a lot of people thinking that he should definitely win it over Lamine Yamal. Which again, these are things that if he wins it, I'm not gonna be mad about it. It's like a Vinicius Jr. where like he wins the Ballon d'Or and then you're looking at the like, oh man, Vinicius Jr. Like him winning the Ballon d'Or would be so good for his sake as a person, but also for us as Barcelona fans too. So if he wins the Ballon d'Or, I'm happy for him. I'm not gonna complain. I'll be rooting for him until the day he leaves Barcelona. Even afterwards, maybe. Depends where he goes. Because if he goes like to an Arsenal or something, I can't support you over there with him. I'm sorry. Next player. I think it was Ansu. I think it was Ansu Fati. Yep, Ansu Fati. Alright, so now we gotta talk about the infamous Ansu Fati. Where to begin? Where to begin? It's sad, to say the least. It's very sad to see Ansu Fati struggle the way he has, because I was part of the group of people who I saw him play, and I remember thinking to myself like, oh, I can't wait to see him thrive as a Barcelona player. Like the way we're talking about Rafinha, Lamine Yamal right now, we were talking about Ansu Fati. He even inherited the number 10 jersey from Messi himself. It's like if Lamine Yamal gets the number 10 jersey by the end of this season or by the next season, it's gonna be like he got it off of Ansu, which means that it was like a shirt before Messi or after Messi. Whereas Ansu Fati, he got the number 10 jersey straight away from Lionel Messi. And I can understand how like that probably like played a big factor in like how he like it affected his confidence maybe, or like he wasn't sure about himself. I can get that, all that. But at the same time, you look at players like Lamine Yamal and like they just play so undetermined and so free willing, and it's like a lack of fear. And you just look at that, you're thinking to yourself like, if only Ansu had that. And I know that's like the least of the problems that Ansu had growing into like the number 10 jersey. One of the biggest problems Ansu did have was the fact that his injuries with his knee. And it is a shame because it makes you wonder like what could have been. Because imagine if like Ansu played on the left, Lamine on the right, and like you had Lewandowski down the middle, right? It just makes you wonder like what would have happened. What could have been. Like obviously there's like Rafinha there now, but you just gotta think about like when it regarding like La Masia talents. And it's unfortunate because obviously I would have loved to seen Ansu Fati thrive at Barcelona rather than see him like not thrive, obviously. But it happened. He just got injured. He didn't have confidence anymore. We sent him on loan to Brighton, and it just didn't work out. His leg, he did not trust his own leg. And that's just something we're gonna have to live with as Barcelona fans. It's gonna be something we can't just be like, all right, never mind. I guess we're just gonna have to move on. But I am hurt for him. Like obviously, like if I already feel bad, if I feel like sad about the situation, imagine how he feels. Like he had like the world on his fingertips. He knew Barcelona fans loved him. He came on the pitch and people were like screaming Ansu, Ansu. But now it's just kind of like everything's shooting him in the face. Whoever the guy who injured him at the Real Betis game, fucked him up. Like he ruined his fucking career. And that's like the worst tragedy of it all. Like Ansu Fati lost his career because of that situation. So whether I'd want to keep him or not, I want to sell him personally. I think his time has come already. Like he tried his best to make it work at Barcelona, despite like the injuries and everything. He did come back and he did try and play. Supposedly, like loved him how like his first like training sessions on preseason, but apparently like he got lazy or something and he stopped giving it all his effort. And Flick told him in January, you're not gonna play under me. I recommend you go to another club. He didn't want to go. Then he cries about it afterwards. He came out crying about it. Not literally crying, but he came out like saying like him and his dad were like, oh, he's not giving me a chance, blah, blah, blah. And like everyone's like, bro, he told you you're not going to play. How can you be so like blind? And a lot of people like are trying to defend Ansu, saying like, hey, well, maybe Flick should have let him play anyway. Like maybe he should have like still gave Ansu Fati a chance. Well, he had to show in training first, and Ansu Fati wasn't even doing that. He wasn't even showing up in training and giving it his all. So how, as a coach, can you like fully, consciously, willingly let a guy play games of football and have other players who are actually like putting in the effort in training? You know what I mean? So whether I want him to leave or stay, I do want him to stay. I mean leave, my bad. And it's being heavily reported nowadays like today, literally today, that he is linked with a move to Monaco. And I think for his sake, that's fine. It's not personally. This is me. I don't see League On being a top 10, a top 5 league anymore. It used to be, but nowadays, like you know who's gonna win like more than like Bundesliga. Like, even Bundesliga has been more exciting recently with like teams like Leverkusen like really giving Bayern a run for their money. However, I still don't see them winning. Like I still don't see the Bundesliga being as badly as to anticipate than League On is, because you just know fucking PSG are gonna win it every season. They're too fucking rich to not win it. If they ever lose it, then you can laugh at them. Whereas like Bayern Munich, like they lost the season, yeah, but they'd already won it so many years in a row, and it was during a year where Leverkusen were just absolutely fucking thriving. So ultimately, I think that he should leave. And apparently it's gonna be like a $20 million deal too, and we have like an option like to have like a buyback clause, so we can buy him back at some point if we wanted to. I think that's like something that Ansu Fati wants in the deal. Like I guess he's like the idea is that like fully intentionally we want to send him somewhere where he thinks he can like perform well and do really good and prove to Barcelona that hey look I can still perform at this level, the level you need me to perform at. I just need you to give me one more chance, right? It's what I think Ansu's trying to hopefully get out of the situation. And we'll see. We just have to see if it actually works. But I am fully ready to sell him for like a good, for the good, what you call it, 20 million, and have a buyback option. And I think that's great because then he gets. What was that? I didn't see this. I even noticed I didn't get the floor done. Next player, I saw who it was. Lamine Yamal. Again, do I need to say anything? I think the only thing I can do really is just like compliment the fact that he is so fucking young. He is 17 years old, and he is fucking it up, bro. He is destroying everything. He is destroying La Liga, and pretty soon he's gonna start the Champions League. He's gonna start all that shit, bro. He is so good, and he's so young. I don't understand how it's possible that someone can be this fucking good at such a young age. The way he drills past players, he makes it look so effortless. It does give you Lionel Messi vibes, and that's just the thing. And people are like, oh, you can't compare him to Messi. I get that, but at the same time, how do you not? Like, really, how do you not compare him to Lionel Messi? I just can't. I can't see myself not comparing him to the guy because Messi is just one of the best players of all time. And I know you don't want to put that burden on him, on Lamine Yamal, but it's just his effortlessness and the way he plays the game. It's just so beautiful to watch, man. And I fall in love with it again. And like, it's kind of heartwarming because I've always been scared of the fact that Messi's gonna retire at some day, right? Like just today, Inter Miami tied with the Philadelphia Union. They're losing 3-0. Messi doesn't look great. But then out of nowhere, like they pissed him off, and then he starts getting mad, and then he starts playing really well. And Messi's probably already having like one head in the clouds, thinking like I am about to retire, right? This World Cup, I think this World Cup might actually be his last like tournament in general. After the World Cup ends, he'll probably be like, I'm retiring from football. Dead ass. I can see that happening, and then he'll show up to Barcelona. We'll give him a little tribute. Not a little. We're gonna give him the biggest tribute of all time. He's retiring as one of the world's best players of all time. One of, and for me personally, the best player of all time. So, but in this, and like, I've always been scared this day to happen because he's my GOAT, and he's the one he's the reason I am a Barcelona fan today. He's the reason I'm a football fan today. And it's very nice to see that he's been able to achieve everything that he wanted to achieve before that day happens. Because obviously, like, it would have left like a really bad and sour taste in your mouth knowing that like if he retires without having ever won the World Cup. But he has won the World Cup now. He won it. He proved to the world that he did it. No one can ever take that away from him, ever. And to see him like thriving and even now, like losing at Inter Miami and stuff like that, I feel like it really like you can tell it bothers him, but it's not because like he's bothered like by the competition or anything. Like it's not like he has a big old emotional connection to Inter Miami, but it's because like how it's happening. Like you can tell missing game mad because of like referees and stuff over there right now, which I can understand. Like the referees over there have been absolutely fucking woeful, but referees in general have been woeful, to be honest. But it's so pleasant to know that as a Barcelona fan, like he's leaving, right? He's leaving the team, like the football world. Like I can see Ronaldo staying for another like honestly, legit, swear to God, I can see Ronaldo trying to play for another like 4 to 5 years, dead ass. Right? I think Messi, this is probably like his last season. Not last season. This is the second before last season at Inter Miami. Before the World Cup being his last appearance in general, and it makes me sad. But however, it also fills me with a lot of joy to know that there's another young player out there right now who's giving me the exact same vibes as Lionel Messi, right? He's giving me the exact same kind of like idealisms, like on how Messi plays, the way he shoots the ball, all that stuff. And he's only 17. It's it's beautiful. It's just beautiful. I cannot think of a more perfect situation to be like a Barcelona fan, right? And people are like, oh, like a Barcelona fan. They're like, they were making fun of us, bro, when Messi left, and that's where it hurt, cause like we were already down and dusted when it came to that situation. Like we were already sad that our favorite player, Lionel Messi, the GOAT, was leaving, and now we have a guy who's kind of similar, very similar, who how might win the Ballon d'Or this year. I don't know. Like it depends. Like it really depends on the PSG game against Inter Milan. Whether or not like if Inter Milan win, I can definitely see either Rafinha or Lamine Yamal winning the Ballon d'Or. Whereas um if someone like if PSG win the Champions League final, I can see them winning the trophy too. It wouldn't falter me too much because I know for a fact Lamine Yamal has the capacity to win what you call it a Ballon d'Or in the future. It doesn't have to be now. I'd like for it to be now because that make him like I think that'd make him easily like an impossible record to beat of being a 17-year-old or well going to be 18 at the time when he wins it and win the Ballon d'Or. To me, that's unfathomable. I cannot think of a single time in like the next like few hundred years that a 17-year-old, younger than 18-year-old, is gonna come out and win the Ballon d'Or. I just can't see it. And I think it'd be really awesome if Lamine won it at a young age. But at the same time, I also like to see Rafinha win it because even though Rafinha's had a like really good season and he proved himself, I doubt he can replicate this for him. I really do think it's like going a little too far deep into thinking that he could. But it is an option. I would really like to see him win it. I think it'd be really nice to see him win the Ballon d'Or before like that kind of happens because I don't think he'll be in the race again. Or who knows? Maybe he will. Maybe next year he'll have just as good of a season and actually win the Champions League, and he'll win it definitely. But we'll see. But when it comes to Lamine Yamal, man, I said my praises, bro. World class player. Like I'm very excited to see him for the next 10 years of my life. Not even 10, bro. Oh my god, if I time 10 years happening, he's gonna be barely 28. Like we can legitimately see him for like 20 years. I need a break. I'm just stretching a little bit. But yeah, man. Type shit. Type shit. Alright, we're almost done when it comes to talking about like my gradings for the players overall this season. Ferran Torres. I just have to say I'm sorry. I am sorry, Ferran Torres. Because I wanted him out of the club more than any other player ever. Like for the longest time I've been a Barcelona fan, I have never like talked so much shit about a player than Ferran Torres. And I think it was deserved because he was not offering anything. He was taking away minutes from players who were actually performing well. He was taking penalties in situations where I didn't think he should have been taking penalties. Like against Napoli, like he gave us all a heart attack when he missed a penalty to help us go like 2-1 win, like win 2-1 at the Maradona Stadium to give us like a bit of confidence going into the next round. That was when we started Aubameyang. That was a while ago. And he fucked it up. And overall, like his missing, like we would have like maybe last season wouldn't have been so bad if he would have like scored all the chances he had, you know. Whereas this year, he's been great. I can't. If I had to give like a 1 to 10, I'd probably give him a 9 because he's come off the bench so many times and he has performed admirably. And I don't think this is even a thing. Like the other players, I've said like, hey, you gotta give credit to like. I know you have to give credit to Flick, but you also have to give credit to the player themselves. No, not even that, bro. This time I do think legitimately it was all up to Flick. I think Flick is the main reason why Torres has been able to improve as much as he did. And it's good to see that. It's really good to see how positive Flick has been on this whole Barcelona squad. Not just Pedri, not just Lamine Yamal, none of that. He's been influencing the whole squad. And one of the players who's really been successful with this has been Ferran Torres. So I'm really excited to see if he can definitely. Obviously, he's gonna stay. Like if I had to say he's gonna stay, yeah, go ahead and stay. I don't know if Barca are gonna be able to sign a striker this summer, like a good one that we actually really want, rather than just like a random one from like when we signed Martin Braithwaite. Like we needed a striker, like oh, let's just sign Martin Braithwaite, which obviously didn't work out for us. But I definitely see us doing better. And I definitely see him having another good season next year, which I'm excited for him as well. Like as a fan and as a Barcelona fan, I want to see him succeed. And I think he will succeed. So I do owe him an apology. And I am looking forward to seeing him play next season. Like as of right now, he has appendicitis, so he won't be playing against Bilbao, and maybe he might miss like the first few games of the season next year. But if we can bring him back like with full fitness and like with the intention that he wants to come back and win this fucking league again and maybe win the Champions League, then I'm all for it. Bring him in, bro. Bring him in. Next up, I'm pretty sure Lewandowski. Yep, Lewandowski. I have mixed feelings about Lewandowski. Season started and all of us were praising him and saying like, oh, this is what Flick wanted. Like this is not Flick, what Lewandowski wanted. A coach like Flick, someone who knows how to play. Because you already know if Xavi would have stayed in Barcelona, there's a big chance that Lewandowski would have left. Because they just did not see eye to eye. And Flick shows up, and the best of Lewandowski has been unlocked again. After they worked together at Bayern for about 2 years, they come back together and they fucking thrive with each other. And I have a hard time seeing how anyone can make the argument that Lewandowski has been poor this season. Some people are like saying, oh, Lewandowski didn't do enough. I think he did just enough. Because I do agree that at the end of the season now, Lewandowski has been like playing games and he has not been scoring any goals. And it's not that we need him, but like you want like as fans, you don't want to see Real Madrid thrive in anything. And to see like Mbappe like rushing like push up ahead of him in the Pichichi race, and he just fucking doesn't do nothing about it. Like you'd expect him to at least be scoring at least one goal or something to put some kind of pressure. But now Kylian Mbappe is at least like 6 goals ahead of Lewandowski. Lewandowski would need to score 6 goals in order to like even like get tied with Mbappe. So obviously Pichichi's gone. And it's unfortunate, obviously. I mean, it'd be cool if like our last game of the season against Bilbao, they play their B team and Lewandowski plays and he scores a fucking 6 goals. It'd be kind of hard as fuck. Not gonna lie, like it would just ruin Real Madrid's fans' fucking day even more. But it's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna say that like, oh, there's a possibility. It's not gonna happen. What the? Weird. It's not gonna happen, and it's a shame. I have a feeling this thing's gonna open after I scored it. Pause. Sorry, I got a little lightheaded, so I kind of was being quiet for a little bit. So in that aspect, I do understand how Lewandowski has been really good for us. However, and this is where the big however comes in, I do think he needs to be like age has caught up to him, and he should be better. Well, but Carlos, like you're being very like picky about things. Like you guys just won a season, and you should be very thankful for how everyone did. And I am very grateful for how everybody did. But there was times where I feel like Lewandowski should have done better, and especially against games like Inter Milan. That cross that Lamine put in the box, and he had an open header and he missed it. And then you get times when he just makes the complaint like, "Oh, I don't get enough service in the box." I'm like, bro, then what do you say about that one? Lamine Yamal just crossed the ball so perfect to you. All you have to do was tap it with your head. The cross was so perfect, it beat 3 Inter defenders. It beat Sommer. Sommer jumped out of his line to try and reach it, and he missed. That's how good it was. And it just lands straight to you for you to just give it a quick little headbutt in. And you missed. And it's stuff like that where you wonder, like, what if he scored that? What if Lewandowski scores that goal and takes it to penalties? You know? So it's at that stage where you really got to understand to yourself that it's a shame. Because I want to say that he's there. I still think that he's one of our players who's like Ballon d'Or worthy to be nominated, along with Pedri, Amal, and Rafinha. But I don't think he's. I think if I'm gonna put him on a podium, I'm not gonna put him on a podium. I think he goes like straight into like. I think he's like 10th for the Ballon d'Or, even though he scored all the goals that he scored. I still think most of his game's lacking, and I hate it. I can't tell you how much I hate it every time I see him go so deep into the fucking field. When I see him go all the way up like in the midfield because he wants to play with the ball more, I'm like, bro, what are you doing? You are not a fucking Pedri. You are not a Gavi. You're not a Casado. You're not about to like dribble past 5 different players and pass it perfectly to your mouth. You're not. I'm sorry. You are a strong striker. You need to be in front of the goal. Nowhere else. And every time I see him, or every time I see him that he's not in that position, I fucking lose my mind. Oh yeah. Regardless. Yeah, I guess that's all I have to say about Lewandowski. I still appreciate him. We'll talk about the transfers that we're linked with in just a bit to try and close off this a little bit because I think I'm almost done. I'm like 81%. I've cleaned this whole fucking aquarium, which has been fun by the way. I'm really enjoying myself. Watch that off. Pau Victor. Last guy we really need to talk about. There's always been academy players we've seen like here and there throughout the season, like Sergio Dominguez and Cuenca. But we're not going to talk about them because they've had like very brief cameos in the season. And Pau Victor, I think he had a really good preseason. It was an amazing preseason. However, I think as the season came on now, I don't know why Flick didn't play with him more often. And there was games where like I know we all like, oh, we don't have no one like to replace Lamine Yamal. And I feel like we did though. Like I legitimately think if we would have like to sub off Lamine Yamal, we would have brought on players like which is his name, fucking Pau Victor, who in preseason played on that position. He went on that he got on that side of the field on the right side, and he linked up so well with Lewandowski. They complement each other like two strikers coming together, and it worked out really well. And I don't see why Flick never tried that even more during the actual season. Because he did that in preseason, and Pau Victor was scoring goals for fun. But actual season comes around the corner, Pau Victor didn't really do much, to be honest. I think he scored 2 goals, one against Mallorca and against Osasuna. Regardless, though, I mean, I think what I would do with him, apparently Leverkusen, there's interest from Leverkusen in him, and they like to buy him. And if we get a striker this summer, if we actually go out there and get like a Victor Gyökeres or something, I would be okay with selling Pau Victor, even though we had such a hard time with like La Liga over registering him and Olmo together. And then like I bet like he was probably losing sleep over. He's like, oh, what if I don't get registered? Like poor guy. I do think ultimately, I would be happy to sell him off to Leverkusen. I don't know how much the fee is, but I wouldn't mind because he just hasn't played enough at Barca to be like, oh, he has to stay. So I'm under more the influence that we should let him go. So that's how I feel about Victor. We just haven't seen enough of him for me to give you more of an opinion. I do think that's a little bit up to Flick. I don't know why Flick just didn't play him more often, but I digress. It's not for me here or there to say who should play more. And Flick's the one who brought this team together and made him a very scary team. So maybe there's a reason he didn't play. Maybe there's a reason Flick said like I'm not gonna play him every game or whatever. I do expect him to play tomorrow against Bilbao, but we'll see. But that's it. That's the whole Barcelona squad, the main Barcelona squad that played this season. And I'm proud. I'm very proud of this team. Overall, there's a lot of players I decided to keep. There's a lot of players I decided to get rid of, like Ter Stegen, Ronald Araujo, Pablo Victor, players like that. I would like to keep most of the squad. I think most of the squad needs to stay unless something like some big idiotic transfer fee comes around from somebody who says like, hey, we want to buy Gavi for this like 40 million. For me, I'd rather keep him, but for again 40 million for him, I'd be like, these are investments that we could make, and that I would be willing to make. And that's where I left off. Now, as for summer transfers, all right. So there's like a few positions that I do think the Barcelona need to really focus on, like necessarily, very badly. And I'll tell you what the ones that we don't really need to focus on. Center back. We don't need a new center back. There's a reason like Jonathan Tah's went to Bayern Munich and not Barcelona, because there was a big point. Like he could have been a Bayern Munich player a long time ago, but he never went there because he was waiting for Barcelona to come in. And now that he knows that Barcelona are not, I bet like they probably talked to his agent and stuff like saying that they're not going to be calling for him. Now he's like, oh, okay, I guess I'm going to Bayern Munich now, which just feels nice, you know, to have a player like have you like be waiting for you, but once like you say you can't get him or you're not going to get him, and he's like, oh, okay, I guess I gotta go with my plan B. And his plan B is Bayern Munich, and that's crazy. That's how you know he's a world-class player, but it's just a position we don't really need right now. If that gives me confidence that Christensen's gonna stay next season rather than leave, because like, what would be the point of like being like, oh, never mind, we're not gonna get Jonathan Tah, but we're also signing Christensen? You know, it just doesn't make sense to me. So I'm hoping, I could only hope that we're doing something smart and not doing some shit like that. So center back, not a position we need. Center midfielders, do not need it. We have so many midfielders, and I think they can all play a good role. Like again, if we can keep players like in that attacking midfield role, like Olmo, Gavi, and Fermin. But I'd rather play Gavi more deep in and Fermin, possibly, and just have like Dani Olmo and Pablo Torre play up front. But I do legitimately think that Pablo Torre is leaving, because they already sent him on loan one time. It didn't work out. Not because he played bad, but because he wasn't playing because he was injured. And yeah, it sucks. It really does. But I think he will leave eventually. He's gonna leave and stuff. So, but regardless of that, even if we lose him, we still have such a fucking filled up midfield that even Eric Garcia and Christensen can play in that midfield if need be. So yeah, again, I don't see us needing a midfielder. So here, let's talk about the positions I do think we need. We do need a striker. We need a new striker. And as much as I love Lewandowski and how much he's done for the club, he is getting older. You can tell he's getting older. And because it's his stamina, it's his strength, he's getting tossed around a little bit now by younger center backs. Like he got a little pushed around by Bastoni. Bastoni like really made him look like a little bitch. And that's something you don't want to see when you have a really big striker. And that's something I don't think you would see from like a Erling Haaland or Alexander Isak, which are two strikers I'd love to have, Alexander Isak and Erling Haaland. But ultimately, I don't think we're not going to go for them. They're just too expensive, unfortunately. Like, in a perfect world, yeah, Barcelona have like millions and millions and millions of euros like Real Madrid does. You'd love to see them go to Real Madrid, to Manchester City and be like, hey, here's 120 million for Erling Haaland. Right? It'd be nice if we would have done that a long time ago rather than sign players like Coutinho and Griezmann and shit. Even then, there was a point where like Erling Haaland was being linked to Barcelona when he was playing at Molde, the Norwegian team. And even then, he went to Red Bull Salzburg, and before he went to Dortmund, apparently there was still interest from Erling Haaland's camp to go to Barcelona, and they still said no. So I'm like what the hell? And Barcelona, we need a striker, a new one. And I look at the options. I know that there's a lot of people saying, oh, we should just wait a few more years and we can bring in like Alexander Isak for a lot cheaper, which I agree with. But then you think to yourself, like, who do you bring in then? Because like a lot of people are saying like, oh, we can bring in Victor Gyökeres. But I'm like, bro, like if I bring in Victor Gyökeres, I'm not signing a new striker in the long run, because Victor Gyökeres is like a number one striker at that point. I can see Victor Gyökeres maybe going like to Arsenal, which would hurt me personally as a Spurs fan. But I do see that happening. I do see him like probably going to Arsenal to play over there instead, because he wants to be the main guy. You don't want to be like go to the team and be like, and tell him, hey, you're gonna only play like you're gonna be the first team for like about a year or two, and then you're gonna get pushed back to the bench or even sold possibly to make way for Erling Haaland or Alexander Isak. So no, I don't agree with that. I do think we need to get a striker who is class enough to like have like a start like a starting role if it ever called needed to be called upon. But at the same time, it can't be like a world beater to a point like you can't like as soon as like you get the player you do want to get, you don't end up signing him because you already have a really good striker. But the one you really want is just right there, and you can't even sign him because you already have a striker on the squad. And the player I'm going to talk about right now is Jonathan David, because I think Jonathan David is the perfect and ideal player that Barcelona should try and go for this summer, mainly because he's a free agent and he's proven himself to be very good against big teams like Real Madrid this season in the Champions League. He played around fucking their defense really well, and I love seeing him play in that defense. He's Canadian too, and a lot of people are like, oh, Canadian, what does that have to do with anything? Well, it'd be fucking funny for you to know that Barcelona had every possibility of signing um, Alphonso Davies back when before he joined Bayern Munich. That Barcelona apparently like there was interest or something from Barcelona, but at the end of the day, they didn't end up going for him. Why, must you ask? I wonder what. I'm curious if you understand why we didn't go for Barcelona. Why Barcelona did not go for Alphonso Davies. And in the words of Bartomeu, it's because he was Canadian. Because the guy was Canadian, Barcelona did not sign him for a cheap deal too. By the way, like I think Bayern paid like less than like 10 million for the guy. You see where the frustration with this fucking that president left us? Pretty fucking bad, huh? And yeah, I don't know what else to say. It's just infuriating because we had every possibility to sign a real class left back to play along with, not like play along with Balde, but we didn't end up getting him because he was quote unquote Canadian. And that hurts, bro. Like it legit hurts. I cannot believe that shit. Like we could have had one of the best left backs in our modern time, and we didn't because he's Canadian. Like and then like in the Copa del Rey game against Barbosa, bro. We played against them, bro, and I saw in the fucking crowd. I saw Bartomeu, bro. If I was any Barcelona fan in the area, it's on site. I'm surprised he didn't catch it. Like no one caught a case from trying to beat his ass. Pause. He was just right there smiling and cheering for Barcelona. I said, you son of a bitch. You're the reason we're in this situation. That's kind of creepy. I'm not going to hold you. But regardless. Yeah, I don't know what else to tell you. It's just very disappointing. I'm just thinking about it now, bro, because like we could have had such a good player. Regardless, Jonathan David, I think he would make a perfect striker for the moment. Because A, he can come in and he can play as a perfect backup to Lewandowski. A lot of people are like, oh, but what if he wants to be the main guy at Barcelona? And like I get that, but at the same time, I think he knows his kind of area where he's at, and I don't think he sees himself as a guaranteed starter for a team like Barcelona. So you know the ego's not that big right there. It's not going to be a major contributor to him being like in the negotiations and be like, hey, I need to be a starter for this team. Yeah, I completely agree. So that's where I'd probably leave that. And I think Jonathan Day would be a perfect striker option, like alternative at the moment, until like not this summer, but next summer, or even the summer after that, we can go to Newcastle or Manchester City and be like, hey, how much for Erling Haaland or how much for Alexander Isak? You know, Laporta wants Haaland desperately, but I would love Isak. I would love Isak, unless like he like upgrades his contract at any point, like extends it and makes it even more expensive to get him. Then I'm gonna be like, nah, never mind then. But yeah, Right winger. So I do think we need a right winger to have like replace. A lot of people are saying, oh, we can just have a left winger. And whenever we sub off, like we can sub off them all and bring somebody on, and then you can move Rafinha to the right wing, and then you can have that person, the person you subbed on, to be on the left wing, a left winger perhaps, which I think is okay. If we do end up doing that this summer, which it seems very likely, I don't think there's any problem. Excuse me. I don't think there's any problem in trying to do that as a strategy. My only thing is I'd like to have a player who can like, because Rafinha on that right side, he's very good, but he's not like dribbling past defenders good, you know? So I feel like we need to have someone who has more that quality touch to it. And this is one that it's not going to happen. We're not even linked to the guy. Other than the fact that he said that he's a big Barcelona fan, like if Barcelona ever came calling to him, that he'd like take it into consideration. But the player in question is Zegrova from Lille, same team where Jonathan David's at right now. I think, and he'd be able to be for very cheap. And I think he offers the team so much. And I want to see him there because he has a skillful level. Like he dribbles like crazy, man. He's really good at dribbling. His dribble percentage is really great. I don't know what it is again. I didn't check the numbers before playing this at the moment, but he's really good at dribbling. And I think it's a player that we should really try and consider trying to get. Because I think, let's say like you're playing against Barcelona. What was that? Thought I saw something open. Okay, I'm giving myself a little bit of a break because my throat legitimately hurts from all this talking I'm doing. Look at that, nice. And I don't know. I think we need a player who can really like dribble past players. Even when Lamine Yamal's not there, like maybe he gets injured or something. God forbid. But he gets injured and he can't play a game now. And you want to have players like him or like Barcelona, like anyone who can come in and dribble on that right side and let Rafinha or whoever the other left winger is gonna be do what they need to do on that other side. You know. And that's like my aspiration for like a signing I'd like to have. Right? I don't want to have to like make things more complicated than it has to be. Like it's about to be with this player I'm about to mention that I don't think we should go for. I don't think any Barcelona fan right now is like really looking at this deal and thinking to themselves like, oh, this is a great deal. Not necessarily because they're a bad player, but because of the price and because of like what it means for like the whole rest of the team. But we gotta talk about it. So I already talked about Zagrova and David. Zagrova, it's not gonna happen. It's what I want to happen. It's a player that I think we should sign, but we're not really linked to the guy. Other than one time they asked him like, hey, like, what's your favorite team? He's like, oh, I love Barcelona. And it'd be really interesting, I think. He'd be the first Kosovo player to ever play for Barcelona. But that's very minor when it comes to like actually what you want from the guy, you know? And when we're talking about the left side position, like we've always like a lot of Barcelona fans have always wanted Nico Williams. And I agree. I think Nico Williams would be a fantastic signing for the club because I think he has good chemistry with Lamine Yamal himself, with Balde, and like you want to have like they're gonna be on the same side together, so they can work really well together, Balde and Nico Williams. Like let's say Balde goes too up far the pitch, then you can rely on Nico Williams to help cover that space that he's in behind, or vice versa. But for some whatever reason, Laporta came out recently. He said like, hey, we gave him a shot to join us, and he said he didn't want to. So we're like, it kind of makes it sound like he's thinking like, oh, he didn't fuck with us. Fine, you're not gonna fuck with us. He's not gonna join no more. Which I'm usually okay with, because like you know like if a player has a doubts of joining your team, that's when you know they're not qualified to be like mentioned. You know what I mean? But this is one of those occasions where you have to have an exception. Because Nico Williams is legitimately the perfect signing for us in that position. And it's cheaper than who I'm about to mention, Luis Diaz. Luis Diaz is a good player. But the price that Liverpool want for him, they want 80 million for Luis Diaz. He is not an 80 million player. Not in any shape or form is Luis Diaz an 80 million player. That's not even like talking about like the agent fees and the salary cap. Like at the end of the day, you're gonna be ending up paying like almost like 100 million for the guy. So you see that, and it's like 80 million plus to get all that shit together. And for Nico Williams, it'd just be 60 million or so. But yeah, Barca is still looking very deeply into Luis Diaz as a top signing for Barcelona this summer. And it's something Deco's talking about, which at this point, bro, I want Deco, the fucking sporting director, bro. He has no idea what the fuck he's talking about. He's trying to sign these players that just really don't make any sense for the club. Why would we want to sign him when we have a perfectly other good guy who's cheaper, is proven to can do better, has a relationship already with the players from the Spanish team like Pedri, Lamine Yamal, Balde, and you're still trying to sign Luis Diaz? It just makes no sense to me. I think that's this, like, if we end up buying him, it's and it's like it doesn't work out, and it's a lot of money. And considering how like Barca is reportedly gonna have like up to 120 million to spend in total, and you're gonna waste more than half of that on one guy. Whereas like if you waste like at least 60 million on Nico Williams, you still have another 60 million to work with. So that's where like I put my straw. Like I don't want Luis Diaz, not because he's a bad player. Again, he's a decent player. He's really good. I say he's like a 40 million player. He's not 80 million. He's just not. If you can somehow make a deal with Liverpool and like turn that figure like down a bit, then yeah, why not? Like if you're able to make it like 50 million for him, or even 60 million, like the price that we're considering for Nico, then maybe. But that's not the case. We're being genuinely linked to the guy for 80 million, and I cannot believe that. And if we do that, not only that, the worst part is that you're gonna have to kick Rafinha out of his position. Because it's not like you can move him you can't move him somewhere. You can't move Luis Diaz as a striker. You can't move him as a right winger. You need him to be on that left wing. And the plan is, like I said, they want to put Rafinha as a CAM. Earlier when we were talking about like Rafinha being compared to players like Pablo Torre and Fermin. I think that's an awful idea. I think if you have an amazing season the way you have, with 50 plus goal contributions in both goals and assists, and you want to move him? You want to move Rafinha away from the position that's making him like strive and do really good, to put another guy who you don't even know how well he's gonna do when he shows up. Like again, hindsight. Like what if like next, when it actually happens, we sign him and he goes off. Let's say Luis Diaz starts scoring goal after goal after goal, and Rafinha's creating chances in the midfield for like his compatriots. Then you're gonna look at this, what I'm saying right now, and be like, oh, you were wrong. And I'll be like, you're right. I was wrong. I should have known better, I guess. But as of right now, with all the information we have right now, it sounds like a terrible deal. I'll tell you what doesn't sound like a terrible deal. The other left winger we're linked up with. And this left winger, I can absolutely understand why we'd want to go for him. I can understand like the necessity because we want to get him. And I had my doubts at first because I didn't know how well he like play into this squad after how bad he's been, like not only playing but how he's been acting. Like he's been acting really badly in the club he was at before he went on loan. And that player is Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford has always been a really good player. Always. There's been times where he's like slowed down, like where he hasn't been world class 24/7. But I don't think you can really expect that from any player nowadays, really. Like even Rafinha right now, he's stumped his form a little bit. Lamine Yamal started off the season, he wasn't that great. He was still good, don't get me wrong, but he wasn't like what he's doing right now, where he's like scoring banger after banger after banger after banger. Whereas Marcus Rashford, he was being very inconsistent for United for a long time. I remember when I talked about it to my friend Adrian, I told him, hey, like, personally we're linked with Marcus Rashford. He's not a big soccer guy. And he was excited. He was like, oh, Carlos, you're so fucking lucky. I was like, bro, I'm not sure about that, because this guy has a tendency, like right now he's like partying when he's not supposed to. He's doing this shit and this shit. My friend Adrian, his response is, oh, well, you just gotta understand that like these guys are like party guys, bro. Like they want to party, they want to have fun. I said, bro, and that pissed me off. Like I was like, oh no. That is not how it works. This is in America. Where like most of the athletes go out partying all the time, like even during the season. Like usually soccer players, they wait. We wait until it's like end the season before we actually have anything fun to do, like actual like parties and stuff. Rashford was doing this. I know why he was doing it. He was doing it because he didn't like Ten Hag or whatever. But you're an athlete. You're a professional athlete. You're getting paid thousands, even millions of dollars to play the sport. But because you don't like the coach, you're just gonna be like, nah, I'm not gonna put in my effort. And I was scared. I was scared that he was gonna bring that kind of attitude to Barcelona. So whenever we were linked to him, I wasn't sure. But however, he didn't go to Barcelona, but he did go to Aston Villa. He went to Aston Villa on loan. And I kept my eye on him. I kept on thinking, okay, let's see how he does. Because if he does really good, then maybe like I can see I was wrong, or maybe we can try and go for him in the summer as a loan as well. But we'll have to see. I want to see how he does. Does he actually play good football during his time there? Does he cause any like problems? Is he gonna like be in a big old fight with Unai Emery, the coach of Aston Villa? And to my delightful surprise, he did. He absolutely smashed it when it came to his professionality, his eagerness to work for the team. He was playing like every game mattered to him, which is something he was lacking at Manchester United. You can tell like he's running on the pitch like if he's like, whatever. And that's like the kind of attitude I didn't want to see at Barcelona. That's the kind of attitude you don't want to see at Barcelona, especially in a team that's like playing the system that Flick has him playing under, which is like very like attacking football. You never stop seeing Rafinha or Lamine Yamal running after the ball, even if like we're not necessarily holding possession for too long. You'll never see Lamine Yamal and Rafinha just like casually walking around. You know what I mean? Not like Vinicius and Mbappe. But to see how Rashford like actually put his effort and all into Aston Villa, it made me happy. It made me happy not only for me as a Barcelona fan, because I'm thinking to myself like, oh, now we can even be like, now we can like, if they offer it, if he's still gonna be on like bad terms with Manchester United, which is all possible. Like Manchester United have been really shit, and now they're about to lose most of their squad now this summer. They might want to keep Rashford just because like whatever, but at the same time he's homegrown talent, so it's pure profit, and they're gonna need pure profit if they want to like make their squad better this summer. So I can see them like we can call Manchester United and be like, hey guys, listen, a loan, right? You get that, we'll handle the wages and shit, and you just gotta let us borrow him for a season and see how he does. And I think that's the best case scenario that can happen to Barca at the moment. Because Nico Williams expensive, and Laporta just seems like Laporta's really hurt with the fact that he didn't want to join Barcelona last summer. Just kind of doing like the whole, oh well, you don't want to come with us, oh well, I guess you're not gonna be a Barcelona player now. You had your chance. Which again, I understand the sentiment behind it. Like you either choose Barcelona now, or you don't, or you miss out on it. But at the same time, I think it's an exception for Nico. Luis Diaz, I don't want him. It's just too expensive, and I think he's just not worth the 80 million price tag, to be quite frankly honest with you. Again, not saying he's a bad player, but he's just not 80 million player. And I think Rashford's just a perfect pick. It's going to be a loan. You can have him, like, you can play with him, and like, if he does really well, he does really well. And not only that, he can also play as a striker. Like, if you, like, let's say, for example, Lewandowski's not hitting it, and for whatever reason you want to bring on Ferran Torres, like, you can bring on Chris Rashford, and you can have him be a striker. You know what I mean? I'm so close. This has been, like, a great map, by the way. I love this map. What? Oh my god. Watch how I'm not even being recording. Oh my god. Imagine. Oh, I would have been so hurt. But, oh yeah. But overall, I would like to have Marcus Rashford. Alright, now another position that needs to be really talked about desperately is the fact that Barcelona need backup fullbacks. And I'm not saying we have to go stupid with the cash. We don't have to go out and like sign again like Alphonso Davies right now. It's impossible now. You can't really just be signing players like that on a whim or like out of nowhere. You know? But whereas come to this situation, the situation we are in right now, Barcelona need a proper like I said earlier, Gerard Martin has to go. Hector Fort, I think he should go on loan. Get some extra playing time in La Liga so he can like show his worth in the actual league that we play in. Don't send him to like Greece. Don't send him to England or some shit like that. Send him like we need him here at Barcelona in Spain. so he can possibly improve on what he was this season, which I think he was already decent. He just didn't have enough play time to like really prove himself. Um, so that's where like the fullbacks come into play, right? And so I'm looking at like right back situations, and I know there's this guy called Ratiu who's being linked. He's a Romanian fullback from Rayo, and he's at Rayo Vallecano right now. He's being linked with a move to Barcelona at the moment. I just don't personally see it happening. I think he's not Barcelona quality. Like he's really good at attacking, but he's not great at defense, and it's something that it's kind of reminds me of Kunde at the moment. But it's just a worse version of Kunde. So I'm like, I'd rather like have like the way Gerard Martin, like even though like he's not a great player, he comes on the pitch, and he comes on the pitch and fucking during the game. Like if you're winning 2-0, you bring him in. I'm like I can trust that he's gonna like defend properly. Whereas Kunde's there, like he gets subbed off. I don't feel as much confidence when Hector Fort comes on. You know what I mean? So I can definitely see Barcelona like getting rid of Fort as like a loan or something, even as a sell, maybe even, but with the buyback clause hopefully. I do think there's like a lot of there's a lot of promise in Hector Fort's future. But look at that, good old PP tower. I do think Barcelona needs to have a better right back option when it comes to defense wise, and I can't think of any other better than Vanderson. Because even though he's really good at attacking stuff, his defense numbers are really good for Monaco. So like, let's say we sell Fati to Monaco, maybe we can add because apparently it's 20 million that they're offering for him. But even though I'd like the money, I would also like to maybe offer them, hey, like we'll send you Fati for like 10 million or for like 5 million, and you send and like but we'll also want a swap deal for Vanderson. I think it's a good idea. I really do think it's a good idea, and he can come in. He'll be a really good backup, Brazilian backup to Jules Koundé. So I am perfectly okay with us doing that when it comes to our right back situation. Now left back. This is where it gets a little tricky for me because I'm about to offer somebody who I think will be perfect for the role. It's less defense, like I said again. It's a person who's going to be a lot more attacking, and this person's more of a star. He has more of a role at his current team than like any other person would be. Like you're gonna have to sign him and be like, hey, we're bringing you in on the basis of you're gonna be a substitute to Alejandro Balde. When in his team where he's at right now, he's a starter. And that player being Alex Grimaldo. And I know a lot of people are like, oh well, Carlos, that's not gonna happen. He's already a starter at Leverkusen. Why would he want to go to Barcelona and be a backup? And I get that. I really, really do. But at the same time, does he not see how many times like Balde does not play every game? Does he not see how many times like Balde gets subbed off in times? And that's not because of Balde being a bad player, but it's just because sometimes the game needs a little bit of spice. And if you bring on like a player like Grimaldo, like sometimes people like think like can already see enemies like looking at us and be like, oh, they brought on Gerard Martin. This is gonna be a lot easier now. I genuinely feel that. Whereas like if you bring on like a Grimaldo, people are gonna be like, oh shit, here comes Grimaldo now. Like you think you're like, oh, Balde's tired now, they're gonna probably have to sub him off, and then you see Grimaldo warming up, you're like shit. And the fact that he's like an old La Masia player, he used to play in La Masia, he's gonna have a relationship with all these players. I think it's perfect. I think it's perfect. So I would be really willing to see like Barcelona try and sign him up, legitimately. So those are my two fullback areas. Now the last position we need to talk about is goalkeeper, because I've already talked about how Iñaki Peña is gonna leave, Ter Stegen's gonna leave. Again, this is my fictional world. Who knows? Maybe next season Ter Stegen stays, and maybe Iñaki Peña stays, and Szczesny the one who retires. But I think that we should keep everybody. We should sell Ter Stegen and Iñaki Peña and keep Wojciech Szczesny. That's what I think we should do. Whether it's what we do or not, it's going to be a different question. But I'm just saying that is what I think it's the proper situation that should happen. And if that happens, there's a lot of goalkeepers out there that people are being linking us to. And I think like one of them that I thought would be like a good idea until I saw the age was Jan Sommer. I thought like, oh, that'd be a perfect. Because that motherfucker was perfect. He stopped us at every corner in our Champions League game. If we can have a player like that, like defend our goal in the Champions League, I think it'd be perfect. However, I looked at his age. The guy's 36. he is close to retirement. Like they got yeah like 4 years of him, and you don't even know if that's gonna be like the best version of himself. Like it's not you don't have no guarantee he's gonna be like a Manuel Neuer and just keep pulling out these like amazing performances at such like a old age. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's like the right case scenario you want to put yourself in. And so yeah, that server's an option, but I'm not sure about it. This is one of the ones I kind of tossed out there a little bit, and it's John Suzuki. I think his name is John. He's a Japanese goalkeeper, but he's black as fuck. Like he's like full on American, but apparently like he has like his like I think his mama is Japanese, and like so he has that connection, and so that's like the whole thing with him. Just making sure what am I missing. So and he's playing right now at Parma in Italy at the moment, and I think it'd be really interesting to see him play. And entrance room wall. Oh. Where? Oh. Still not done though. But I'm trying to think of like any other goalkeeper that I think could have been like from an outside perspective, because now I kind of know who we're being very much linked into. And that being Joan Garcia, the Espanyol goalkeeper. What the hell? How did I miss this? He has had like the most saves of all goalkeepers in La Liga, more than Szczesny, more than Ter Stegen, more than Courtois, more than any other goalkeeper in La Liga. So he's a good shot stopper, and that's what we need right now. And you can train him. You can have Ter Stegen there with him for a bit. You can have him train him on what are the proper principles of when it comes to being a sweeper keeper, because that's what we also need. Wait, I'm just looking for the last thing I'm missing. Staff door handle. Staff or shaft? Oh, staff. And we really need a new goalkeeper. Someone who's also young and stuff that you can rely on the future, rather than having one that's like relatively new and skittish. So, John Garcia, he's probably like the obvious choice when it comes to that situation. And I do agree. I do think it's a player we should probably like put for our full faith in. Staff and door handle. Where the fuck is the staff door handle at? But yeah, I was able to, I'm happy because I was able to talk about the whole Barcelona squad, transfer rumors that were being linked to. And next time I do make a video about this situation, I can definitely make it to, oh, is it this one? No. Staff door handle. I don't even know what door he's talking about. Staff door frame. It's a door. I don't know which door it'd be. What the? That's not the right thing. That's a maintenance door. Where's the staff room? I am so confused. I washed it apparently. That's like gift shop door. No. Oh my god. But regardless, I had a really good time. This is like a perfect like idea what to do in the future. Like next time we can talk about more like overall season talk, not just Barcelona. We can talk about like other teams and like what they can do for their signings and signings that have already happened. I don't know what I'll do that next time, but we'll see. Because I know there's another place now called like the ice cream parlor area, which is overall great. Honestly, love to see it. Give me a second, because I'm gonna record the complete process thing. Because my sister Vivian, she likes watching those. Should I explain this game? But what the fuck is she doing? She's a weirdo. Regardless. Video. Oh my god, it's kind of sad. Oh, the fishies. Regardless, that was very fun. I don't like using these. I think that's like a cop out way to get it done. Oh, you can replay it. I didn't know you could replay it. Wait a minute. Wait. So if I go to other clear jobs. Oh, never mind. So like if I leave. Oh, this one does. What the hell? If I go to like this one. No. Oh, because it resets. Alright, let's go to career. Completed. Oh, yeah, see? Look at that. Very satisfying. If we look at other, check the playground area. It's like me and my sister doing this one together while we were talking and just having a good time. My throat is so fucked, by the way. My throat hurts so much from all the talking. What's another good one that we did already together? Oh, this one's a good one. We didn't do this one together, but this was fun to do. Anyway, I do really appreciate you all for listening. For those who decide to stay here the whole time and enjoy a little bit of time with me and look into modifications now just to see, because most of these are shit. Like these are the only ones I can use for the cool one that I have. Oh fuck it, I'm buying that one because fuck the system. So let's just push bum 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 bum. Let's go to career. I'm not gonna do it right now, but just see real quick. Let's go right here. So I have all these ones, but it's nice and clean. Don't mind. Nice. Alright. Regardless, I had a really good time. I look forward to doing another one of these with you guys another time. And yeah, I'm not gonna do it again. I'm just gonna get one little cling before I go. Ah, so good. Regardless, appreciate y'all for watching with me. Have a good time. Bye bye.